And a very good afternoon to you, and welcome here to UPMC Nowlan Park. As you can see from our camera there, gorgeous afternoon down here in the Marble City, and the referee Andy Larkin in the middle there, just sorting out the toss with Katie Manning on my left hand side there. As you're looking at the screen, she's heading away, and on the right hand side, the captain for today I think might be Tara McGrath, but of course the captain of this under 23 side, Cueva Carroll, won't be taking up a starting role today. There is one change, and that's on the visiting team. It's number 20 Orla Mullins from St Thomas. She comes in for Sarah Lyons of Kiltormer. So the teams are as follows, beginning with the Galway team, as we can see there on camera. So we'll go with them. The visitors: Laura Freeney of Athenrise in goal, Rachel Kelly then of Sarsfields, Orla Mullins of St Thomas's, and Ava Crow of Carnmore. In the half back line, it's made up of Katie Manning of Mulla, the captain. The vice captain then, Katie Ann Porter of Davits, is at centre back, and on the left wing, Joanne Daly of Sarsfields. At centre field, it's Ava Carr of Clarenbridge and Jennifer Hughes of Carnmore. Into the half forward line we go, and it's Yvonne Barry of Kinvara will wear 10, Catherine Hanley of Davits 11, and Laura Kelly of Salton Knocknacarra is in the number 12 shirt. And in the full forward line, two Shamrocks players in the corners, Niamh McInerney and Katie Gilchrist, and they will sandwich Cora Kenny of Sarsfields, who is the full forward. Heading up towards the city end then, as we look at the Galway team there, just getting into their huddle and getting their bibs sorted out. Kilkenny are about to come into a huddle up at the city end of the ground here, and we'll give you the Kilkenny team then. Sinead Farrell of St Lachtan's is in goal, Hannah Larkin of James Stevens, Katie Ryan of Clara, and Sophia Kerr of Conaghy Shamrocks is wearing the number 4. It's an all Dixborough half back line of Katie Byrne, Tara McGrath and Aisling Brown. At centre field, it's Laura Phelan of John Locks alongside Miriam Gannon of Moon Coyne. Into the half forward line then, two Conaghy Shamrocks players, Amy Brennan and Ellen Gunner, alongside number 12 Ciara O'Keefe of Young Ireland. And in the full forward line, it's Amy Cody Glenmore, Rachel Dowling of Dixborough, and Ciara Ryan of Clara. Of course, we know the scenario here with manager Emma Kavanagh, and also the listed manager, of course, Cathal Murray of Galway, but he'll be, I'm sure, leaving some of the calls here to his backroom team as he'll be preparing for the senior game at 4 o'clock, and a big game, of course, for both Galway and Kilkenny, that coming up here as well. So if you are watching our action, don't forget we will have coverage of the senior game. But Cathal is in there giving the final words of advice. Semi-finals, of course, coming next weekend. The way things lie at the minute, it's Cork, Galway, Tip, Kilkenny in that order, and then Waterford. Waterford won't be in those semi-finals with the gap that's between all the top 4 are on 6 points. So it's basically the games today with Waterford and Cork thrown in here at the same time that will decide who is going to be where. So it's going to be 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 next week, with the 1 and 2 having home advantage. So that's how it stands in this under 23 championship, with, as I said, semi-finals to take place next weekend. We'll worry about the senior championship when that comes our way in about an hour and 40 minutes time. We'll be prepping for that. But referee is Andy Larkin. I think I saw Aaron Hogg, one of his linesmen, here down underneath me. And both teams in, and Andy is happy to throw the ball in, and game is on, and Galway attacking the city end and the sun in their faces. A gorgeous day here on a fabulous pitch here as well at UPMC Nowlan Park. Early movement and switch of the ball. Niamh McInerney trying to get a swing at it, but she was well hooked, and getting the ball back out here now to her midfielder Jennifer Hughes. Early stage is having a shot at the post. The umpire is going for the flag, and it is a point for Jennifer Hughes. We are just 20 seconds on the clock. Brian, good start for Galway.
Yeah, excellent start for Galway. Sharp won the throw in, attack over the bar. Great point from Jennifer Hughes.
So Niamh McInerney might have had a chance and 2 chances at it, but she set up Jennifer Hughes for that score then after just 20 seconds here. You're watching, of course, on the Camogie Association YouTube channel, and the crew from Entray involved with us here today. Looking at movement here at the minute, but the puck out to come from Sinead Farrell. Break off a Galway onto a Kilkenny player there, and it's out for a Galway ball. It's going to be taken by Laura Kelly. Of course, Laura would have plenty of experience, senior level and all. Cathal still on the line here then with I think I see Conor Dolan down here on the line as well. Conor, of course, well known in Camogie circles as well, with work he's done in other counties, as ball is knocked down along the wing here now, looking for the movement of Amy Cody. Gets ball scooped up into her hand with the Glenmore colours, getting that ball in field. Ball is flicked away well there by Katie Ann Porter, but left behind her a little bit then, and Laura Phelan and John Locks gets her body in over it, and that aids Tara McGrath to be able to pop the ball out. It might make it though all the way to Galway's number 11, Catherine Hanley. Galway in their change strip, as you can see, the predominantly white with the maroon splash on it now. I know a lot of traditionalists in Galway weren't overly happy maybe with the jersey change this year, but brand new jersey, a bit more white I suppose on the maroon, fully maroon jersey, and there's a bit more maroon on the white jersey here, if you want to call it that way. As the ball breaks over on the far side, we'll worry about the fashion later and try and focus on the action as that ball goes out over the line over on the far side, and it's going to be gesticulated as a Kilkenny ball down tight in that corner on the 20 metre line into the O'Loughlin end of the ground here. Hebron Road just out behind us. Kilkenny City quite busy road on the way down, lots of people enjoying the weather. And it's glorious here at UPMC Nowlan Park, as Galway are the ones that do well out of that break and come out but lose it just short of the 45 metre line. Andy Larkin keeping an eye on this, but Alex said just as the ball pops out, he had the whistle blown, that play, he's going to hold it up and throw the ball in. Brian, this under-23 championship proving interesting with all four teams on the same points here.
Yeah, interesting. Cork, I think, just like in the senior, look to be a step ahead, and the others are fighting it out for the positions who will be second, third and fourth to see the lineup for the semi-finals. Speaking
of Cork in the senior championship, Clare have got a goal and a point. They lead Cork by a goal and a point to no score after just 2 minutes. Tipper on the way to the points against Limerick, and it looks like Limerick's senior season might be over as Kilkenny get the equaliser here.
Katie Byrne
has a good score.
Yeah, great score for Kilkenny by Katie Byrne. Player of the year in Kilkenny the year before last. Obviously a member of the Dixborough team that won the All-Ireland.
Yeah, and
superb score.
Somebody that might have number 5 on the back, but has already been involved in a couple of raids up in the half-forward line. So maybe positional. Of course, numbers, as we know, in GA mean nothing anymore. Players showing up everywhere and anywhere as Niamh McInerney gets a touch on that ball and gets it in field. Bit of a drop ball there by Laura Kelly, but she regrouped and got that ball back in the hands of McInerney, and it's over to the corner. Andy Larkin judges that to be a foul by the Kilkenny defender there, and it's going to be a free-in and a chance after 4 minutes here for Kilkenny and Galway to fight it out here, with Galway getting potentially a chance at going back in front here. So just to let you know, 3-17 to 6 points, Tipperary lead Limerick in the senior championship. That would, of course, by my reckoning, put Tip on to 6 points, and it puts Limerick in that position of where they might not be able to qualify for a quarter final. That ball goes in and over the bar, and Laura Kelly with a good point.
Yeah, good point. Strange she's taken them. They've Avian Barry and I thought Katie Gilchrist, but Laura's obviously as adept as them all.
Laura on that free. The number 20 you might see on screen there, of course, is in from the start. Orla Mullen, she replaced Sarah Lyons. Doesn't look like she's playing in a full back position. She's out around the middle here at the minute now, looking to get on the ball as Kilkenny do dig it out, and as we said, attack the Hebron Road end down to our left hand side. The crowd not happy with Andy Larkin, but it's Kilkenny that make up the ground. 3 Galway players in surrounding Kilkenny's number 15, Ciara Ryan, the Clara player, struggling to find a black and amber jersey, but it looks like it's come out the back of the ruck here. Ruck again for him, and Andy happy as the ball is moving, and it looks like it's centre forward that dug it out there, Ellen Gunner, and then foul committed on the aforementioned Ciara Ryan, and it's going to be a chance for a long range effort here for Kilkenny, but very little wind. Although
slight wind with Kilkenny
flying down there, down to our left hand side. I don't think I've never seen them not flying here at UPMC Nowlan Park with regards to that gap. It seems to be between the stands, always picks up some element of air, and it is favouring Kilkenny, if you so be it as it is, but on the pitch light enough it seems. We're under cover here, but you can feel the heat high up above the pitch here at the minute, so it has to be warm. But dangerous ball, had to be batted away. And eventually centre back going to take on it there. Kellyanne Porter blocked down from the Kilkenny forwards, and Galway struggling to get out with it here. Ava Crow hits the deck, and Kilkenny are all over it here now, looking to kick this ball out, but eventually taking it on there. Jennifer Hughes got the opening score for Galway, but the referee judges a foul was committed there. Not sure who he's given it to here at the minute.
Kilkenny.
Right, so he judged that Jennifer Hughes gave a push in the back,
and
now a bit of chat there, and Andy Larkin has moved it in. Might have considered that a bit harsh.
Yeah, well, the move in makes a big difference because Rachel just dropped the one short from where she would have had to hit, but now she's bang on the 45, and I'd be expecting this one to go over and level the game.
Tip 4-19, Limerick 7 points as we stand over this with the point opportunity from Rachel Dowling into the Hebron Road end, puts that ball over the bar. It's a scenario then of where we have scores on the board.
2-2. Dun Sophia.
Scoreboard operator has it at 2 points to 1. I have it at
2 each.
2 each, but I don't know. Yeah, it has it right now. So Katie Byrne's point was a point earlier on, and Rachel Dowling has joined that here after 8 minutes, a point apiece. Both of them have a point from play and a point from a place ball. This is the All-Ireland Under-23 Camogie Championship. Final round of group games, semi-finals to take place next weekend. Whoever finishes top of the group will have home advantage against the 4th place team. Whoever finishes second will have home advantage against the 3rd place team. And at the moment that would see Cork play Kilkenny and Galway play Tipperary. So important here, the result of this game. Kilkenny, I suppose, would be hoping that they can avoid Cork possibly if they get the win here. Well, they would potentially then have home advantage. Yeah, forgetting that, all right. Kilkenny do have to win substantially well, of course, yeah, because they've only got the one win so far. Awarded the points after, I think, an administrative error on the Cork's front in their first round game. That's why they're all on 6 points. Jennifer Daly was the one that got the goal against Cork down in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. As that ball is flighted in, it's knocked back into play by Galway there, and the Kilkenny defence have to be all over it with Hannah Larkin coming out with it and getting a touch over to the far side. Lovely take in there by Katie Byrne. Byrne down along the wing now, expecting a lot, but it might work out. Look at the hop that came up off that ground there, Brian. Phenomenal come from that distance and then get a hop away from Rachel Dowling, and it has favoured the Galway defence now to be able to come out with it. Dowling.
Yeah, really summer hop, that one.
Wasn't it?
Up over the head. It's been quite a while since we've seen that in Camogie in the last few weeks and months, even though the weather has been good.
Richard Dowling touching us, I think, at the perfect angle to catch the ball, and the next thing it spun up and up over her head. So anyway, we're on focus on the play, and Niamh McInerney being challenged there by Sophia Kerr and Aisling Brown. But it's Galway to hold on to the ball now with Hughes doubling back here now and giving it to Niamh McInerney. McInerney shortens the grip and goes on her left hand side, knocks it down into the wing. Opportunity maybe to get across there now for Katie Gilchrist. Looking to turn inside now. Here come Galway. An opportunity bearing down on goal at the city end. Batted across Evine Barry, Kinvara player. Looking to get it into one of her inside forward line. On the ground now, stepping over it, but good defensive play there by Hannah Larkin. Hannah trying to hold off the attentions of Laura Kelly. Eventually gets a bit of a clearance on it, but Kelly looks like she's going to be able to turn around, pop it across goal. Good ball, blocked down. Chance here for Galway with loads of space maybe to knock this ball over the bar. Shorten of the grip there by the full forward Cora Kenny. Pops it over the bar. Galway made a bit of hard work of that, Brian, but got the score in the end.
They did. They made hard work of it, but they got there in the finish.
3 points to 2 then it is, as you can see in the replay there. Cora Kenny having to shorten the grip. The Saracens player popping the ball over the bar makes it 3 points to 2 here with 10 minutes 40 seconds gone, as you can see on the clock. Ball down along the wing. Going to step inside now, Arca Kenny challenging with Rachel Dowling. Umpire though is racing out there to wave that wide. There's a tight enough angle to go for that shot.
Yeah, it would have been some score. Brilliant pick up by Rachel, but just wide on the near side.
Cork have hit scores from Saoirse McCarthy, Laura Hayes and Clodagh Finn to be back within a point of Clare, who shocked them with the start here, getting a goal very early doors in that, of course. Downley, Carlow 1-8 to 3 points. Offaly 1-1 to a point up against Westmeath. 4-19 to 7 points out. Tipperary leading Limerick. those all coming, of course, in the senior championship. We'll endeavour to find out the score of the Cork Waterford under 23 game at half time, so we can keep an eye on the table.
Good forceful play there by Tarmac. Won the ball, drove out and got the free. Gives Kilkenny a chance now to launch it
Laura Phelan
into the goal.
Yeah, Laura Phelan and John Locke's about to take this now. Right down below us here, just in our own half. Gets a good connection on it. That's going to trouble the goalkeeper, who's putting the hurley up to block out the sun. It batted down, trying to get in on there. Amy Brennan spins around, still going. Amy trying to get through two Galway players, and defence all over that at the minute. Amy is there along with Amy Brennan and Amy Cody. It's the two Amy's there, of course, and still continuing on. But the referee saw something, and then a bit of a slap after. He's not overly happy. Andy Larkin, he's after blowing the whistle a couple of times there. But tenacious play there. Amy Cody and Amy Brennan weren't giving up on that ball at various different stages there.
No, there was a fleeting chance there for Kilkenny, but just didn't fall for them.
So 3-2 Galway lead here. Lovely hop that time up into the hand of Laura Kelly, and she keeps the play going. Jennifer Hughes rushing on to this.
Wide.
Be a quick fire score, but it's gone to the left and wide. Chance gone a begging there, and that probably was one of Galway's easier chances. Hughes even had time to maybe bring that ball on. 13 minutes gone, 3-2. You're live here at UPMC Nowlan Park for the All-Ireland Under-23 Camogie Championship final group game. Semi-finals to take place next weekend. Don't forget, these two sides meet in the senior championship. That's on the way at 4 o'clock, and a big game there as well, as the ball is batted down and away by Galway's number 4, Ava Crow. Joanne Daly there trying to keep it in play and bring it in field, trying to get her body across. Katie Ann Porter goes down over this ball. A lot being expected there with a couple of black and amber jerseys around, but it's Galway that do come out with it. Eventually cleared to this side of the field, where trying to get her hand on it is Galway's number 13, Niamh McInerney, but it's well played by Kilkenny's number 4, Sophia Kerr, trying to get it down towards Amy Cody. Amy struggling with it because the other number 13 has come down to make it difficult for Niamh McInerney, and eventually Galway are the ones that come out with it, with their number 2, Rachel Kelly of Sarsfields, looking to clear, but it's a bit tight to the line right in front of Conor Dolan there. Water break being given, and quick call, obviously a decision being made today with the conditions. It was 23 degrees at pitch side, night coming in at about 12:30, so it does feel like it's got a little bit warmer, and we're, as you said, up in the gantry, and we are, I suppose 100 feet above the pitch, and it's fairly warm up here under the stand. As you can imagine, the cladding is attracting the heat here, Brian. It's an intelligent thing to do, I know we used to get used to them in COVID and used to break momentum, but on a day like today, I don't think anyone will complain, will they?
No, I'd be interested. Will this continue for the senior game, or will we even have it for the second half of this match? Obviously, it must have been agreed prior to the game, Killian, but I think it is sensible given the conditions.
Don't see any issue with it if it's done quickly. It was, during the COVID time, it probably was threatened to be abused and nearly became like a tactical break. You saw player or managers coming out with whiteboards and everything and making all sorts of switches. If all it is to bring water, I don't see any issue, and it's all done and dusted there very, very quickly.
All the miniature Paul Kinnerks all the wannabe Paul Kinnerks were out. Yeah. With
their white markers and whiteboard markers and stencils and everything, movements and all sorts. But anyway, it remains on the board 3-2. Galway in possession with Cora Kenny, one of the point scorers for Galway. She getting to go to get her second. She's had a fine shot at it. The nod from the umpire, it's over the bar. Fine score from Cora Kenny with 15 and a half minutes gone here.
Yeah, well, Galway were the sharper after the water break.
Well, they kept the ball down this end of the field and they moved it intelligently. 1-8-3 down lead Carlow. Kildare 4-0 score up on Kerry. 1-1 Offaly in Westmeath in the Midlands Derby. 4-24 to 8 points. Tipperary leading Limerick into the closing stages in the senior championship. Cork have responded to that goal from Clare and lead 6 points to 1-2 after 15 minutes in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, as the ball continues on here down towards the Hebron Road end here, and eventually Galway break it out here to Katie Ann Porter. It's a big day in the championships. There's another round next weekend, but this is kind of the moving day anyway in the senior championship, you would consider it. It's the Saturday at the Masters as mastering the scoring prowess is Cora Kenny at the minute. 3 points in quick succession, 2 in the space of 40 seconds, and she has pushed on Galway here now by 5 points to 2, and they look like they're in a groove here now, Brian.
Yeah, that was absolutely a super score off her left hand side, out in front of Hannah Larkin, turned towards the stand side and over the bar. Absolutely brilliant
let's
score.
Praise that. Amy Brennan, what a take, and eventually she was being given the advantage. What a take out of the sky. Not sure we'll be able to watch a replay back of that, but a phenomenal take on the move with that puck out that came there from Sinead Farrell right into the pocket of Amy Brennan. And she has got the free. Kilkenny need to get the movements on the scoreboard, Brian, because, we're thinking of the elements. If there is any significant breeze or whatever, it is behind them.
Yeah, at the moment, I don't think it's too significant. And I think we saw that with the last Galway score. It was plenty, but if there is any, it is favouring Kilkenny. The game just hasn't ignited at all. It needs something to spark it into life.
Rachel Dowling got a point after 8 minutes. A chance here now to get her second point of the day into that end of the ground. The umpires like it, and it's over the bar. Fine effort from Rachel Dowling. She is a fine place taker, and it is 18 minutes gone. And she has her second place ball over the bar. 5 points to 3. Galway claimed the puck out, and they're doing well on their own puck out there as it cross towards McInerney, bounces away from her, and Kilkenny are there in numbers with Sophia Kerr to be able to get it, and she needs the help of her full back Katie Ryan to be able to deliver that clearance down towards the old dressing room end here, or side I should say, of UPMC Nowlan Park. Movement on the ball for Kilkenny, down in the corner now. Laura Phelan knocking it down towards Rachel Dowling. Rachel had to come from a bit of a standing start, but she made it, looking to flight that ball inside. It's a dangerous one. Ciara O'Keefe looking to get up and looked like a pull on her, but the referee maybe he's allowing the advantage to continue. Kilkenny, Ellen Gunner looked like she was going down that ball, and the Galway player came out through, but Annie Larkin happy for the play to continue. Galway though picking and pocketing and moving out with Porter, getting it out to the middle. Where trying to get on it there was Laura Kelly. The hop off the ground is phenomenal, and there is a cut of grass, a nice cut on the pitch, so it's interesting to see how the ball is hopping up off the surface. Dangerous ball down along now. Dowling pulling it. Just so close. She just saw the goalkeeper coming out of the corner of her eye, had a shot off there, and it was very, very close, but she just pulled it to the right and wide. Andy Larkin going in. Going to have a word with Rachel Dowling. I don't know for what.
I think she was indicating she might have been pulled, but she wasn't. She made a great run across the Galway defender, got there first. I just went agonisingly wide of the post from a Kilkenny point of view.
Yeah, I think she might have, as I said, saw Laura Freeney coming out and felt she had to pull it wide of her, and she did, and unfortunately from Rachel Dowling's point of view that was too wide and out by the post. So a goal chance there for Rachel Dowling, and that would have really ignited things here, and that came here after the 20-minute mark. It remains 5-3. Megan, Luke and Tom doing the needful on the cameras here, watching the action at UPMC Nowlan Park. Gorgeous day to be in Kilkenny. Marble City shining brightly here, as Galway though are the ones that are taking their chances better, and as a unit back there doing quite well defensively, as all the half-back line get involved in getting that ball cleared up. It heads in the direction of Hanley. Hanley loses it though to her immediate opponent Tara McGrath. Down along the wing, lovely take by centre forward Ellen Gunner on the way. Is that over the bar? That is the score of the game, Brian. Phenomenal take there by Ellen Gunner, one looking over the bar.
Yeah, great score by Ellen, great catch, turn over the bar. Hopefully that puts the game into life. We're back to a point.
Yeah, and something needed badly from a Kilkenny point of view now. Kelly being pushed it off the ball there by the Kilkenny defenders. Combination of Katie Byrne and Tara McGrath. The Dixborough crew linking up well together here, but Kelly got back and won that ball. Now a bit of a gap here for Hanley to exploit. Getting it in over the top of the head here now. Cora Kenny's already 3 points to her name. Having to backtrack a little bit is Hannah Larkin, and Larkin does that very, very well, the James Stephens player, and Kilkenny have got there in numbers. Galway could have done better with that, Brian.
Yeah, it was great defending though by Hannah Larkin. You know, one-on-one. She's back there Lovely 30 yards from the goal, and nobody at home. If if Cora Kenny had got around her.
Back towards Gunnar then, the latest score.
The throw.
And throw a ball there, and a chance here now, I'd imagine, for Rachel Dowling to come out and have a shot at this. And I thought that Galway were in a groove, Brian. I mentioned it about 4 or 5 minutes ago, but Kilkenny seemed to maybe have heard me and went, well, we'll prove them wrong here, and have really stepped up a bit.
Yeah, well, the last day against Tipperary, Kilkenny went 4 points to 0 down. Then they got 7 in a row and actually went in 3 up at half time. And then Tipperary got 5 in a row. So this Kilkenny under-23 team, you know, they seem to switch on and off so far in the games to date. Maybe we're seeing it again now, where again they went down 5-2, and now if this potentially goes over their level.
It's a long-range effort from Rachel. She's not overly happy with it because it's dropping short, but it's kept in play there by Amy Cody. Back out it goes to Amy Brennan, and that ball is put over the bar. So they worked it well there between the two of them.
Yeah, like I said, they've conceded 4 in the trot, and now I think they've scored 4 in reply. Or 3, I should say.
So that ball in from Rachel Dowling. She wasn't overly happy with it, but Amy Cody got a stick and knocked it down, and Amy Brennan put it over the bar. 5 points apiece then here it is, with coming up on 23 minutes gone, and we have a stoppage in play here to a Galway player. A couple of Kilkenny players as well receiving a little bit of attention. So a bit of a water break going on here now, it would seem, after we had an official one after about 15 minutes there. Chance maybe for ourselves to draw a breath as Andy Larkin keeping an eye on things, but there's a lot of officials out on the field of play. Full time in the senior championship, Tipperary 4-26, Limerick 8 points. It is Cork 7, Clare 1-3. Don't forget, coming up it's Waterford and Dublin at 3 o'clock, and it's Kilkenny and Galway here at 4, and we'll have that live in the action. So those are the games. Tipperary keeping themselves in that championship with that win over Limerick, and I think that might be the end of Limerick's season. We'll just have to adjust the table and have a look at it there, but they might be in that position of where, as long as Clare don't get hockey today by Cork, Limerick's season will be over.
Yeah, I think Clare will claim the third spot on difference. Now they could win the game judging by the score at the minute, but once they lose by a respectable score, it looks like Clare will be the third spot. It'll be Cork, Tip, Clare.
Yeah, the way it would seem to be falling out in that group anyway. Andy Larkin is a judge here in this All-Ireland Under-23. In case you've just joined us and you're thinking, what's going on? It's Kilkenny and Galway. They're not until 4. This is the Under-23 Championship. Kilkenny and Galway fighting it out for positional places in the table, which will determine, of course, the semi-finals that they have next week. It's currently Cork, Galway, Tipperary and Kilkenny in that order. Waterford will not be in the semi-finals. They're too far adrift as it is. So you will be expecting Cork to win, so they will top the table on 9 points. And then Galway here. Kilkenny have to beat Galway by 10 points. Because of the situation with the table. They got the points, of course, from that deduction that Cork had for, I think it was 6 subs that was used in their first game. So that is the situation at the minute. You'll be looking at Cork probably at the top. Galway at the minute here, it's level. I won't do them any harm either. So who will be playing who? As he said, it'll be first against fourth, second against third. On the ball is Niamh McInerney, flighting it over to the other corner here now, looking for a movement here out of Cora Kenny. Kenny held up though there well by Katie Ryan, but Ryan hits the deck a little bit, has to get the ball out here, and back to support is Ciara O'Keefe. Cuts in field. Referee has the arm outstretched. He probably thought there was something after the ball there. Good use of her body there. Amy Brennan, the last point score for Kilkenny, struggling to get in possession, but she eventually gets it back, and on the move are Kilkenny now, looking to get it moving here. They're having a shot off. Is that over the bar? That is another phenomenal effort. Right, we've seen some cracking scores, and Kilkenny have come from 5-2 down to now lead 6-5. A cracking score there from their midfielder. Yeah,
that was the score of the game. They worked that out from the back. Great little ball on the ground by Laura Phelan, finding Ciara Ryan over the bar. Really, really great team score.
Yeah, great score indeed from Kilkenny's point of view. And ever since I said that it looked like Galway were in the groove, they've seemed to hit the buffers.
Again.
Ball is being flighted in now. Galway got to be careful, and it's the keeper that comes out and takes that there. Laura Freeney up along the line she comes here, and it looks like Galway's number 12 going to advance on it here. Laura Kelly. Not happy here on the line for Kilkenny that ball they thought was picked off the ground, but play allowed to continue anyway because it's Kilkenny that are in possession. Ball towards Rachel Dowling wasn't a great one, and corner back for Galway there. Eva Crow looking to get back and take possession. Cleared by Porter. Up back there are the Kilkenny defence. They're there in numbers. Galway look like they've withdrawn a little bit, Brian, and this is my a little bit of concern from a Galway point of view, even though they've won that free. Their defence are too or their forwards are too deep, or too deep down the park, let's say.
Yeah, they're dragging the Kilkenny half-back line down the park, and they're after getting into the game. Katie Byrne coming out with it, Tara McGrath coming out with the ball and playing it in, and it's giving Kilkenny a platform then to come back into the game and actually lead by a point. But a chance now for Galway to level it up again.
Chance for them to level it, but this is their first chance in a long time, and I just have to say, like, they were flying with Cora Kenny getting 2 in 40 seconds. That had them 5 points to 2, but they haven't even troubled the goal since, as that free is flighted in and it's gone out to the left and wide, and that shows a little bit of the malaise that has set in a little bit.
Yeah, they've totally gone off it, Galway. Here's a chance now.
And I don't know whether it's because it's something Kilkenny have done, but here's the chance for Galway now to get it level with the shot coming in from Katie Gilchrist, and she's put that ball over the bar, and that might wake them up here a little bit. It's a fine score there, but it was a Kilkenny mistake that led to that score.
Yeah, attempted a sharp hook out, just a little bit over hit by Sinead Farrell, and it's gone back over her bar. 6
points apiece then, so Galway with their first score in 11 minutes, and in that time, as we said, Kilkenny went from 5-2 down to lead 6-5. Looking to drive out with it there, Jennifer Hughes. She was being fouled, said the referee, so it's going to be called back. Down along the wing, here it goes. As you can see, gorgeous sunshine. Some of the girls starting to roll up the jerseys as Galway tried to advance. Eve McInerney getting the ball back towards Cora Kenny there, and the referee was allowing an advantage, so it's going to be a chance here now, and all of a sudden Galway responding, maybe a chance here to make it a 1 point lead again. You're live here with the All-Ireland Under-23 Camogie Championship. It's the final round of games in the group, and then the 4 teams advance to the semi-finals, and it'll be 1v4, 2v3, and as we said, we'll work all that out, the connotations of that here. But Kilkenny, if they're to avoid Cork and get out of 4th place, have to win this game by 10 points. It's not looking like that at the minute. Galway, even if a draw would be enough, because Tip are idle and Waterford won't beat Cork, so a draw would be enough for Galway. But that ball has gone in and to the right and wide. 2 wides in quick succession for Laura Kelly now as well.
Yeah, and I said, like, to have Katie Gilchrist and Avian Barry were both very adept on the frees. I was surprised at the start when she went up to hit the first one. I was expecting Katie Gilchrist.
So as things stand, it would look like it's going to be Cork, Galway, Tip and Kilkenny in that order. That would mean then it would be Cork versus Kilkenny and Galway versus Tip. Cork and Galway at home next weekend. Those would be the 2 semi-finals in the All-Ireland Under-23 Championship. But we have had 2 different halves here of this first half. Galway dominant and in the groove and flowing and going quite well, and 2 points in quick succession from Cora Kenny. Had them 5-2 up after 17, but then quick fire points from Rachel Dowling, Amy Brennan, Ellen Gunner and Laura Phelan had them in a situation where Galway get in and buried in the back of the net. Niamh McInerney, and that came out of nothing. We're talking about how this game has ebbed and flowed, and you thought about it, Brian, you mentioned it. that Kilkenny have a habit of doing this. She rolled very well off of Sophia Kerr there, Niamh McInerney, and set herself up well. Expertly taken goal.
Yeah, she's the danger inside forward for Galway. I read on both sides, she's the one player with a turn of pace. So Sophia had been doing a good job on her, but just goes to show you can't switch for a second. But once she turned,
but Brian, I notice again though, Galway have pushed up the field. Their forward line now is getting that bit of space, and all of a sudden they've countered with a goal and a point. You wonder why they stopped doing what they were doing as such.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kilkenny have a chance to narrow the gap here. I didn't see what time additionally we're going to have, but here's a chance for Rachel Downing. Had a goal chance herself on 20 minutes. 2 frees on 8 and 18, and a chance now just to the line with that left hand up right at the Hebron Road end here. Going to have a shot, and it's right over the black spot and over the bar. 3 from Rachel Downing. Into the 33rd minute we are. We did have the stoppage for water, and we did have a hold up on injury, but that's well taken there by centre fielder Muireann Gannon. But it's cut out by Porter, and the referee says that's it, seen enough. 1-6 for Galway, 7 points for Kilkenny. At half, as we said, Brian, that ebbed and flowed. We had Galway in a 5-2 ascendancy. Then we saw a 4-point rattle off by Kilkenny, and then a goal and a point there from Galway just before the break has them in front.
Yeah, I mean, similar on both sides. When you think one team is on top and totally dominating, the other comes back. Galway at the start totally lording it. Next thing, Kilkenny come back, and then right before half time they're hit with the 1-2, and we've got Galway by 2 points up. This could go either way, really. I don't think there's too much between the teams. The goal was badly needed for the game itself. It sparked it into life, and like you said, it's really to see who's going to be second or third here. I think both teams obviously know they're through. It's just where they're going to end up ultimately in the table.
Yeah, ultimately that's all that's going to matter, as we said. And at the minute, the way things would stand, we're going to try and find out the Cork-Waterford score, but not trying to cast any aspersions. You would be expecting Cork to win that game, so they'll top the table. Galway at the minute would be winning, so they would be second. Tipperary then idle today, of course, with a bye. They would be third. And Kilkenny in the current situation will be fourth, so that would see Cork play Kilkenny and Galway play Tip with Cork and Galway at home in next weekend's All-Ireland semi-finals. We'll see how it plays out. It is half time here. It has ebbed and flowed. It has Galway with just that little bit of class from Niamh McInerney that has them in front at half time. So here live from UPMC Nowlan Park, it's half time here in the All-Ireland Under-23 Camogie Championship final group game. It is the home side Kilkenny 7 points, but it's Galway in front 1-6. Welcome back here, UPMC Nowlan Park. Galway back out. Andy Larkin has had 2 shrills of the whistle here to try and get Kilkenny out. They know, maybe strong words being said, they know they need to win significantly if they are to avoid Cork, is probably what the target would be, but they will be in the semi-final next week as things stand playing Cork. That's the way the group is going. Just give you some of the other games. Intermediate Championship, latest score that we have, obviously I would call this a surprising one. Kildare Kerry 1-9 to no score. Antrim 2-11 to 6 points up against Meath. Offaly lead Westmeath 2-8 to 2-2 in the Midlands Derby there in Group 1 round 3. Back to Group 2 round 3 then at half time. Down lead Carlow 1-14 to 1-5. Into the Senior Championship then, a result that we have, and it probably cements now their place in the quarter-finals. Tipperary have defeated Limerick by 4-26 to 8 points. Limerick, as we know, have a weekend off now next weekend, and it's out of their hands. They would really need Clare to be beaten considerably by Cork and then Tipperary next weekend if Limerick were to slip back in, but it doesn't look like that potentially is on the table. But anyway, 4-26 to 8, Tip have defeated Limerick, and at half time, after conceding an early goal to Jennifer Daly, Cork have bounced back and lead at half time, but it's still fairly tight there. Cork 9, Clare 1-3. Waterford and Dublin get underway at 3 o'clock, so about 10 minutes time, and then the other game that we will have here for you is the senior version of this game between Kilkenny and Galway. To let you know, it's well in hands of Cork. They lead by a significant score. I'm not even going to mention it against Waterford in the other group game here that's taking place. So by that reckoning, Cork will top the group, and it will be Tipperary. No, they're already there, and if Galway get a result here, they'll be second. So it'll be Cork, Kilkenny, Galway and Tip. The only ones that have no control of upsetting all of that will be Kilkenny beating Galway here, and that would flip things around a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Second half to come. Andy Larkin having a chat with the players. Not sure he's overly happy with something, but Andy is about to throw the ball in. Second half gets underway. Just 9 minutes to 3 here in the Marble City. It's UPMC Nowlan Park. Gorgeous in the full sunshine, and it is the All-Ireland Under-23 Camogie Championship. Semi-finals next weekend. Home venues for the teams that finish first and second.
Lauren Ronan's in frame with Cody.
So there is a change on the Kilkenny team as they attack the city end of the ground.
18.
But it's Galway that have sent that ball, and every time that ball goes down into that corner, Brian, there's a hop there around 30 metres out to the 20 metre line, and it's sending it up over players' shoulders. It's a very unusual bounce, whatever's in that part of the surface.
Yeah, probably a part of the ground that's more worn than other parts.
So there, half time, as Brian was pointing out, confirmed. Lauren Ronan of St. Bridget's in for Amy Cody. So Ellen Gunner got a fine score in that first half, knocks the ball down along the wing, but allowing it to drift out there is Joanne Daly from the Sarsfields Club. Ball played across here then to Katie Manning of the famed Mulya. Want to have a shot off the captain, but she's pulled that to the left and wide. Andy Larkin is I think he must be fed up of whoever's giving him a bit of lip. He had a word with him just before the throw-in, and now he's having a word with Ellen Gunner. And it looks like he is going to take her name here.
Yeah, it's the second time he's had a word with her. Yeah, yellow card for Ellen. She's not seeing eye to eye with Andy.
No, but we saw him have a chat with her before the throw ball in at the start of the second half, and she's obviously been having a chat with him since. Down to her left hand side here we see Tommy Shefflin and his backroom team and the Kilkenny seniors, as it looks like all the Kilkenny teams are going to be in the Hebron Road dressing rooms, and all the Galway teams are going to be over in the old dressing rooms, over on the far side. Cathal Murray allowing his backroom team and the seniors to get things warmed up. They all seem to be here still with the under 23s anyway, as Galway come running down the field again, and the shot off, it's hit the upright, and going to try and get there is Aisling Brown. The shot from Laura Kelly. Kelly is there now. Brown knocked off the ball, but it is Kilkenny that look like they're going to try and get out here with their number 4, Sophia Kerr, intelligently, rather than going across her goal, down along the wing here towards Gunner. Gunner gets enough of a touch on it to be able to give it to her wing back, Katie Byrne of Dixborough, looking for a little bit of a movement, doesn't get a full connection on that, but the ball was in the direction of Ciara Ryan. Ryan's hurl was being pulled, I thought, but the referee allowing the play to form and continue, and it's the sub that is in, the number 18, Lauren Ronan, tight to the line, gets a little flick inside. Ball was nearly in the hand there of Amy Brennan, but she was kind of knocked out of her stride and trying to get holds of it. 1-6-7 is what it was at half time. It is Galway that are coming out with it, though, with Joanne Daly giving it to Hanley. Hanley switching it to the far side. Look at the way that ball has just took off on the surface, but trying to get over there and make it is Cora Kenny. 3 fine points in the first half. She looks like she was hooshed on the line there. Linesman has decided that he's going to give it as a Kilkenny ball. It touched Cora Kenny, and out over the line he's gesticulating there that it would come off her foot, and sideline cut then for Kilkenny. As he said, the full pitch bedecked in sunshine, not a shade or shadow on it, and hard going on the girls down there. 23 degrees it was in my car coming in 2 hours ago, so I imagine it's in and around that. It's quite warm where we are, right under the roof of the stand here. And it is roughly in and around, as he said, anywhere on the pitch, probably 20 to 23 degrees here at UPMC Nowlan Park. Gorgeous day. Let's not complain about it, because I believe a change is on the way, as ball is played forward by Muireann Gannon. Gannon now searching out her forwards, but tracking across there, Rachel Kelly. Loads of experience, Rachel, of course. Sarsi's player, All-Ireland club final experience, and also senior experience as well at inter-county level. Sideline cut to Galway over on that side. Sparsely enough stand populated there. A lot of the Go gamers who were entertaining us there at half time, sitting in the stands watching some of the stars of the future still. They're at under 23, but will we see some of these merge into the under 20 or senior teams, I should say, in the coming 18 months or thereabouts? Ball is played across, and you know some of them of course are on the verges of them. Katie Manning was trying to get forward with that ball, but the referee says she took too much out of it. And you'd have to credit Amy Brennan there, Brian. Without her hurley, she never gave up on that one.
No, absolutely. No hurl didn't stop her. Put the work in, held her up and got the free.
So, looks like a substitute. Looks like 3 subs going to be warmed up here for Galway. And we'll let you know in a minute. 23, 24 and 27. Looks like Alana Fahy, Ava Joyce and Ellen Burke look like they're coming in, but Rachel Dowling standing over this now. 3 points to her name in the first half. It's a good bit out, 64 metres by the time she hits it, dropping it in. It looks like it's tail and close, hits the upright, comes back down, but who's the quickest to react? Dowling looking to see could Brennan get a touch on that, and the ball eventually comes back out and it's up and over the bar.
You're right.
And looks like it was Ciara Ryan got that point.
Yeah.
Came back off the upright, and a little bit of indecision, but that makes it now Kilkenny 8 points, Galway 1-6. First score at the second half, and here is it like buses, they come along quick in succession. No, that one has gone out to the left and wide, and Galway being guilty of a few missed chances, but a fine score from Kilkenny gets them up and running in the second half. 1 point game.
Yeah, very good play by Lauren Ronan. Won the ball, popped it back and over the bar by Ciara Ryan. We're back to a point.
Back to a point. Lovely take there, and spun around and moved. Muireann Gannon giving it to midfielder Laura Phelan, knocking it down along the wing. Ciara Ryan was there delivering that ball as well, but it's coming out with it now. Galway's Ava Crow, but it's dispossessed there by Ellen Gunner. Gunner eventually getting it down along the sideline. Well kept in, and good control by Rachel Dowling. Tight to the line. 3 Galway jerseys there. 2 black and amber trying to battle. Gets it out towards Ryan. Ryan pirouettes well over tackle there, gets the ball inside, met there by a challenge by Jennifer Hughes, hits the deck, still in possession of the ball. Galway not giving up on it, but credit Ciara Ryan, she's still fighting for it, but it's Galway that look like they've come out with it, and waiting to get it in her grasp was Joanne Daly, down along the line, intelligent touch there by Catherine Hanley, but the ball has been won back by Kilkenny. 3 Galway subs getting ready to come into the play, maybe shake things up there. Look like the Kilkenny player has dug it out there, shot coming in tight enough to that right hand upright, but it's gone out to the right and wide. Subs about to come in. I think there's, as he said, 3 going to be made. So it looks like number 11 Catherine Hanley has come off. The number 20 Orla Mullins is off, and it looks like 23 and 24 are definitely, so just 2 of the 3 that were warming up I think has gone in, from what I can see.
Yeah, Lana Fahy and Aoibhinn Joyce are in.
So Kilkenny on the attack here now with their wing back Katie Byrne getting the ball off here. Galway holding up the attack here at the minute, having to put up the hand to kind of get away the hurley stick, but it hasn't the shot at the goal. It's their number 14 Rachel Dowling with a fine score, Brian.
Yeah, fine score, but Lauren Ronan had gone inside all on her own if Katie could have got her to her in the first place, but they recycled, and a great score by Rachel over her shoulder and over the bar. Great striker off either side, Rachel Dowling.
So Kilkenny coming on a bit of a burst here again. We've seen them do that, as Brian said, in earlier games. Let the opposition score, then they come back into it, then they let the opposition go on again, and this time though they're getting the needful here with the burn here by Amy Brennan looking to get forward, but she was being pulled to the referee. We saw Kilkenny fall 5-2 behind, then they got the next 4 scores, went 6-5 in front, and then at half time we're behind by 1-6-7. Now they've levelled things up and have a chance to go a point in front here, Brian. It's a right roller coaster ride here at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a replica of the game against Tipperary. I suppose from the Kilkenny management point of view is certainly if they go on to play Cork or they go on to play Tip again, it'll be putting it all together for the whole game, or for a better portion of it anyway. You can't really play in fits and starts.
That is true. Let you know, Alana Fahy, Karen Moore, Ava Joyce of Salt Hill Knocknacarra, they're the 2 players that are in for Orla Mullins and Catherine Hanley, as Dowling puts that ball over the bar, and she has 5 points to her name now, and she's had 2 in the space of about 90 seconds, and it has Kilkenny in front at 10 points to 1-6 in the All-Ireland Under-23 Camogie Championship. That ball took a hop about 30 yards back from where it eventually landed, and Kilkenny player just have been fouled there by the Galway opponent, and it's going to be a free out for Kilkenny.
A silly free by Niamh McInerney. Hand on the back, easy decision for the referee.
Emily Brogan and Ava Bloomer look like they're warming up there for Galway at the minute. They're going to progress in. We know Kilkenny need to win, but they need to win by 10 points, we reckon, if they're to move out of 4th place, because don't forget they've only got 1 win. They have 3 points from the
Waterford,
the boardroom, from that first round game against Cork.
Oh no, they have 6 then.
As a ball hop forward, I'm sure the Kilkenny and Galway senior players will be keeping an eye on the hop that's coming off the surface here. I have to say, it's any ball hits the deck, it's getting a fair spin and movement as Katie Gilchrist gets inside, giving it off to one of the substitutes. That's tight to that right hand upright. It's gone to the right and wide from number 24 Ava Joyce.
Did they get the points against Cork?
Yeah.
They beat Waterford.
Well, then you can clarify that for me. Yeah, they got the points. I saw during the week anyway. They did.
Points. Yeah. I thought they only took the points off Cork.
That ball played in there by Joyce. Ball batted away. And that ball eventually knocked out. Be interested to see though, Brian, that's what I was concerned about coming down, was the points when you're given the 3 points, the scoring difference though, seeing as that will decide if there is a level on points situation. It obviously comes into scoring difference. What happens in that scenario when you're in a negative on a game that you're awarded points for? Sure, we leave it to the tallies people to work that out.
Yeah, to be
what do you
honest,
do when you get the points when you've lost by, 10 points, let's say, but yet you've been given the win afterwards?
I think they lost by about 16 in that game, Kilkenny. So
what, when it comes down then to everyone level on points, how do you decide?
I wouldn't be up to date with the rules.
Yeah, someone is going to
be up to date with the rules.
Someone let me know that, but that's why I was trying to work out during the week when I heard it with all 4 of them on 6 points. I'm sure someone out there will.
I think by Cork beating Galway, Tip and Waterford, they'll end up on top anyway, so I think it'll be academic. It just means, I suppose, if Kilkenny win, they'll end up playing Tipperary, given that they've gotten the points, and Galway, I think, would then play Cork. But sure, we'll wait and see. We'll leave it up to the powers that be.
That's it.
How it works out.
And he did ordinary level match for the Leaving Cert, so it's going to be a hard one. 10 points to 1-6. It's the Cats who are in front here. .44 minutes gone. Galway returned by Porter. Porter's been on a lot of ball for Galway, but it's another lovely take by Aisling Brown.
Yeah, she's gone back in full back on Rachel Dowling the second half, where she was centre back the first half. She seems to have gone in on Rachel Dowling.
Looks like it's going to be a yellow card for Cora Kenny. Galway have drifted out of the game here again, Brian, haven't they?
Yeah, it's the tail of the game. Both teams going in and out, having a little spell where they're on top, getting the scores, and then they're gone out of it. The other team comes into it.
So Cora Kenny has a yellow card for that foul Andy Larkin considered was quite high. Looks like Kilkenny are about to make a change here. Number 19,
Emma Mulhall.
Probably
be midfield or centre forward.
About to come in. Not just yet, but she will be. Water break being called by Andy Larkin. So players rushing from everywhere.
We have the table up on the phone. We're back up and running then after that water break. 10 points to 1-6, 15 minutes to go. Just seeking a bit of clarity there just on the way that this game ends up, folks, because the table I had seen on the website, that was Kilkenny in fourth. I've now been told that Kilkenny are actually third. It should be third on the table. So that would mean these are fighting it out then for who will have a home semi-final, essentially. That's what it is. I know I have the same table, but I've been told that that's not what it should be. But anyway, that's what I was reading off. So
let's, as we said, maybe leave it out to the administrators. 10 points to 1-6, and the Kilkenny playing quite well in this second half. Galway very much in themselves, Brian, aren't they?
Yeah, it's not great, if I'm being honest, Killian. I think, I don't know, because the two teams know they're through. Maybe Kilkenny, because maybe they can get higher in the table, we think. But it's failing the spark.
Yeah, maybe there's a bit of that going on. But Galway haven't been themselves, as you said. Well, here's maybe an opportunity with the Kilkenny defence, and you have to credit there Aisling Brown, blocked with a hurley on one side and then with her left hand in keeping that position, being moved forward by Galway. As you said, Galway needs something to ignite and spark here. 10 to 1-6, and there's not a ball that Jennifer Hughes will want to have back. She'd love to have it back, but she wouldn't want to see a rerun of it.
Yeah, a weak hit shot off her left and just trickled wide.
Changes for Kilkenny then. Number 22 is in for number 10, and it looks like 22 is also in for Galway.
Kate McCluskey for Kilkenny.
So 2 22s for 2 10s.
It's nearly like the bingo.
49 minutes gone. Kate McCluskey joins Lauren Ronan from St. Bridget's, both of them on the field of play. Here's the Galway 22, Ava Bloomer from the famed club of Portumna. As the shot coming in from another substitute that was in, Alana Fahy, but she's driven it to the right and wide. Galway haven't scored in this second half, and some of the shot taken.
I think they've had 2 or 3 wides now in a row, and it's just a little bit of lack of quality at the minute in the game.
Well, 50 minutes gone on our clock here. The stadium clock pulled up for the minute of the water breaker thereabouts. So we have that plus whatever injury time as shot comes in, and the Yip seems to have hit them all. Ciara Ryan dropping that ball short and trying to get in position here now. Ava Bloomer knocks it down here, left hand side, and you'd have to credit Galway's number 13, Niamh McInerney, got a cracking goal just before the half time break. Hasn't got a whole lot of ball in the second half. She held on to that position and got it for them. Bloomer having a shot on that left hand upright, and it's gone out to the left and wide. They've missed left, they've missed right, and they've hit both uprights, I think, Brian, in this half.
Yeah, and both subs have just missed the last 2. Okay, they're just on, but I think it's symptomatic of the game at the minute. You know, there's just not much quality in it at present, unfortunately. But it won't bother Kilkenny if they get the result. They've been a point ahead now for about the last, I don't know, I can't remember the last time it was a score.
Ball breaks off, and Ciara O'Keefe was able to give that ball off here to. Oh, ball is flicked away there. It was shot in by McCluskey, and the keeper for Galway, Laura Freeney, tapped it down. It's a dangerous enough ball because Brian is dropping in on the crossbar, but that could have hit the ground and trickled over the line. Thankfully it didn't, and now Galway being urged on. Ball hits the deck and travels on here now. Chance in behind the backs here. Cora Kenny has support if she wants it. Ball is dillied and dolly, and Kilkenny are all over it and looking to win that ball back. Chance gone a big one again for Galway when they had a bit of space in behind that Kilkenny defence. A free now being given to Galway. Andrew Larkin looking at the Kilkenny player, not happy with the challenge, and I think it's going to be a yellow card here as Kilkenny introduced number 17, Rachel Whelan. Looks like she's coming in from Clara.
Aisling Brown. Looks like Aisling Brown's making her way towards us. Yeah, so Rachel Whelan for Aisling Brown.
Having a chat there, I think, with two Kilkenny players. I think Tara McGrath in as the on-field captain today, just in there to show support to Emma Mulhall.
Yeah, yellow for Emma, only on the field a few minutes. A chance now for Galway to level it up, get their first score of the second half. God, we're 22 minutes in.
I don't want to put the commentator's curse on it either, Brian, but
I think she's missed the last couple of frees.
Yeah, the way things have been going.
You would expect, though, that this will go between the posts. And it has.
And it has gone over the bar just when it was needed. Laura Kelly has put that free over. 54 minute of the game. So just to give you clarification, Cork are on the way to topping the table. They're beating Waterford well. So they will be playing Tipperary, because we saw clarification there, and Tipperary are in fourth, Kilkenny are in third, and Galway in second. So whoever wins this game essentially has a home semi-final, and they'll be playing each other again. That's what we've been told. As the ball is sent in here by Galway. Have they got the groove going again? They have. Is it Kelly again? I think it is. And all of a sudden, Galway go from being taken on water. That's a fine score, narrow angle. And Laura Kelly with her second point. All in the short space. So Kilkenny coming fighting again.
I think it was 22 minutes of the second half before Galway registered their score, and they're still ahead in the game.
Yeah, and that is after, everything that obviously Kilkenny have thrown at them, and we felt that Kilkenny going quite well, but Kilkenny had that period there for 5 minutes, Brian, where we saw Ciara Ryan and then Rachel Dowling pop up with two scores, and they looked like, again, following on from recovering well from what they conceded a goal before half time. But again, as you said, similar to maybe the game against Tipperary, have allowed, maybe when they had the chance to put Galway away, have now allowed Galway back into this game.
Yeah, and one thing I did notice, Galway have done better straight after them little water breaks. In the first half they got a score, and the second half now it's kicked in. So maybe to take it on board of a drop of water is doing Galway girls good anyway. It's hard to see a goal in the game, Killian. Neither goalkeepers had a save to make as such. That last one nearly dipped in under the bar, but it was McCluskey going for a point.
Ball is played forward. Porter back there. Freeney coming out, challenged by Gunnar. Porter gets down along this side now. Galway are the ones ahead. 1-8 to 10 points. That would mean that they would be at home to Kilkenny in next week's semi-final. Kilkenny win, and they're back here, or they're at a Kilkenny venue against Galway next weekend. That's how it's battling out.
Tip have to be higher than Kilkenny.
Ball flighted across here then. Going to be taken on here by Emma Mulhall. Mulhall getting away, and that's a fine shot. We're right behind it. It's in the side that upright, is it? Umpire nodding and waiting and giving the ball over the bar. It was Conor Dolan. The lights here in the line. We were right behind it. That was over the bar. Fine score.
Yeah, we were right behind that. We were right behind that one, Killian. That was over all the way. Emma Mulhall took it on and look at the post, and she knew exactly what she was doing. Bang! Great score by Emma.
So 11 points to 1-8.
Again.
A draw, and we're looking then obviously at scoring and everything like that, and I leave that down to the administrators. On comes Kate McCluskey now. St. Bridget's lady has an opportunity here, let the ball fall, but she's still going, and she's been tackled heavily there. She's won the free in. You'd have to credit her, Brian. She could have given up on it about twice, I'd say, but she stayed going and eventually drew the foul, and now Kilkenny have a chance of hitting 2 on the bounce here. Yeah,
she's had a bit of pace and a bit of strength at that Kilkenny half forward line. The last couple of times she's got the ball, she's taken it on. As we said earlier, she hit the shot that nearly dipped in under the bar, and again she just drove at the Galway defence, and they'd no choice but to take her down. Has made an impression for Kilkenny since she's come on, Kate.
Looks like Tara McGrath has been called ashore, and
Lauren on the freeze.
I think we've number 21 on for Kilkenny there. That would be Aideen Cody of St. Martin's. So as things stand, from what I've been told, Seeking, as he said, we tried to sort it out. Cork will play Tipperary, and it's whoever wins this game will have a home semi-final, and they play each other again.
And they have a better score difference in Kilkenny, and they beat Kilkenny. It cannot be. Kilkenny will play Tipperary. Yeah, well, sure, look.
So this free, our clock on the board, as you see, 30 seconds, but on the stadium clock there's still about 2 minutes left. That was with they were stopped for the water break. Whatever Andy Larkin then will add for substitutions and everything else, and Rachel Dowling puts that ball over the bar. So Kilkenny went into a little bit of a lull, and now they've shook themselves out of it with the last 2 scores. 60 minutes of action. Bit of a heavy tussle there going in. Aideen Cody, no questions being asked, going in there trying to challenge for that ball. Looked like Katie Gilchrist led with the arm there a little bit, but the referee allowing the play to continue. And right, it's been dogged in certain parts, Brian. Some of the quality mightn't be fantastic, but I have to say some of the tenacity has been brilliant at times. Lots of these girls not giving up on this. The ball is in the hand of Rachel Dowling, scorer in chief for Kilkenny. 6 of their 12 points, but it's Porter who's covered an awful lot of ground there for Galway players. Looking to drive forward here now with their captain Katie Manning of Mullia. Not a great ball though from her, but it hops in front of the goalkeeper Sinead Farrell. Sinead got to be careful, Galway player hunting her down, but she gets the ball clear. Maybe that wasn't the best option from Katie Manning there, Brian.
No. Put it straight into the goalkeeper. I mean, Sinead did fumble it a little bit, but was behind it. A bad decision, really.
Kilkenny 12 points to 1-8 now, and we're in that additional time, whatever it'll ultimately be. Galway managements have headed over to the far side. Conor Dolan has been left here, and 1 or 2 others.
Free in, he's given the free in.
That's a free in then being given.
Just asking about the additional time.
Big ball being left here now for Laura Kelly.
Well, we're into injury time, whatever that will be, Killian. This game could end up a draw, so all permutations are off at the minute. But this is not easy now.
No, not easy at all, but she's stolen about a yard to get this ball in, and will be a little bit further. It's going towards that right hand upright. It's
inside
over.
It's over.
It's over. That's a fair
strike.
Yes, absolutely, with pressure on. And Laura Kelly has stepped up for Galway in the last few minutes, Brian.
She has, yeah. She stole a couple of yards into the sideline, and it certainly helped.
So 62.5. This is the All-Ireland Under-23 Camogie Championship. Permutation now, we'll let it run now until the end and let it all work out. Bit of energy coming into the game here now. 12 points to 1-9. Winner gets points on a home semi-final by the looks of things as Porter, lovely step, and comes out and drives forward now. Are Galway going for the win here, knocking the long ball down into the direction of the full forward line, and their number 23 there, Alana Fahy, but the ball is being coughed up, but she gets a block on it there, and the clearance that was attempted by Rachel Whelan. Ball might work out though for Galway. It's a chance here for Cora Kenny, got 3 fine points in the first half, knocks it back out here to Fahy, looking to step inside. The referee was given an advantage. He saw a pull of a jersey. He maintains. Emma Kavanagh is absolutely livid here on the Kilkenny management line.
I think that's a soft free now from up here. I didn't see much in that, and but
like the ball was
brilliant
just
play
played
at the
back
back
down
by Katie Porter. You know, won the ball against Denon Gunner, drove down the field, drove Galway forward, and then we would think with a chance to win the game for Laura Kelly.
So 63.5 you can see in the clock, but as we said, there was the water break and we didn't see what was being given as additional time. But a chance here now, as we said, Laura Kelly has really stepped up in the last 10 minutes. This will be her 4th shot at goal. Will she get 4 points and give Galway the win here? Tight to that right hand upright. It's gone across the goal. And wide.
I would have 1, 2, 3. I would have been her 5th, but it's gone wide.
Oh yeah, 5th and all, but in the second half.
Yeah.
Galway has turned it over though. Kilkenny were a little bit too quick and maybe their players weren't all switched on. Chance to drive forward here now. It's McInerney getting the ball inside. Ball is flicked on, but it's Kilkenny there driving out with Rachel Whelan. Andy Larkin's going to call a halt. It's done and dusted. It's full time here. It is a draw. 12 points to 1-9, and now we'll leave it to those people who know these things better than us, Brian. Permutations and all, let them work it out, because now it comes down to scoring difference and everything, and we'll see what happens with regards to the semi-finals next week. With Cork beating Waterford, we know one semi-final anyway. With Cork will be at home to, let's see, let the permutations work it out. I believe that is what we've been told, Tipperary. So then we have to see what happens with this scoring, and as we said, we'll leave it up to people to find out. Two teams, credit them. There was a bit of fight there towards the end. You probably have to say, Brian, you know, Laura Kelly, despite that miss there at the end, she was the one that dragged Galway a little bit kicking and screaming to be able to get a point out of this game ultimately. Yeah,
ultimately, she probably just about did. McInerney was the most dangerous forward on the field for me. Obviously got the goal. Other than that, we had, a bit of a shootout between Rachel Dowling from Freeze and Laura Kelly. A draw, again, you were talking about the permutations. My permutations are, I think Galway will be a home to Kilkenny and Cork will be a home to Tipperary, but because it's a draw. But I think both teams have a lot of work to do if they want to go on and win the All-Ireland, because obviously Cork are the bar at the minute. And they've set it, so I think a lot to work on for both teams within the next week.
A lot to work on and see how it ultimately plays out, and the chance of meeting each other again in the semi-final next week. So that's where things have rested anyway. In I suppose entertaining enough. Quality maybe was a little bit bereft really in that start of the second half, but it probably got cooking a little bit more as it came towards a splashdown time. But thanks to Brian here for the moment anyway. I'm sure you'll see confirmation and everything on social media in the next while. We're not going to make a call on it now with regards to how it is on the points and everything, because we just don't want to make an error, because we did see clarification and how that draw has made a little bit of a difference, we think. But as we said, we wait for the confirmation, and if we have it in the next while, we will let you know. But it has finished here in a draw. Galway having to come fighting late. Galway and Kilkenny though went toe to toe in this All-Ireland Under 23 championship, and it has finished up level pegging. So Galway with the 1-9, Kilkenny with the 12 points. That's over and out for the moment. We'll talk to you soon. Good afternoon to you, and you're welcome back here to UPMC Nowlan Park. I'm Killian Whelan, and we're here for round 5 of the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Of course, this is Group 2, and it is Kilkenny up against Galway. And of course, we have a situation, obviously, that we have Kilkenny finished up in their campaign this weekend, whereas Galway, of course, have a round of fixtures next weekend. So, Brian Brophy joining me on commentary. Brian, it's in Kilkenny's hands. They know what they have to do here.
Yes, I think it's keep it in their own hands. Kilkenny have to win today and then let it play out next week and see where they lie in the table after that.
Yeah, and I would imagine that's somewhere Tommy Shefflin doesn't want to be, that you're watching 2 other games next weekend and hoping that it falls for you. If you're in control of your own destiny, you sort it out here, especially on your home pitch.
Yeah, exactly. And I suppose the main thing for Tommy, though, I think will be the performance. The last time here against Waterford, they didn't perform too well, and I think they'll be really eager to, put in a much better show here today.
Tommy reckoned that if you lose 2 matches, as we heard from him back at Parnell Park, if they lost 2 matches, you probably aren't going to be in the mix for an All-Ireland series. So that's probably something that still rings true for him as he's trying to get his girls up and running for this game today, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think even losing 2, they'll still probably qualify, but it just probably makes the route that little bit harder for them in order to get to the final.
For Galway, Brian, they probably haven't shot the lights out in any way, and if people are looking at them as an All-Ireland contender, they're probably getting itchy feet about them because they've had a couple of rounds now. They've had the longest spell off. I think they've had 3 weeks without any action. So yeah. we don't know what Galway has been about in this 2025 championship because, as I said, it's been in fits and starts, really. Yeah,
well, I think we're going to find out today and next week against Waterford, and that will tell us exactly where Galway are.
Would that mean, do you feel like, looking at the management that Cathal Murray, he's probably not too, let's say, worried about it, that these are the 2 games now, and ultimately if you're beating Kilkenny and you're beating Waterford, you're putting yourself thereabouts then to maybe try and take down Cork ultimately?
Well, ultimately it gives them the best chance if they do beat Kilkenny and they do beat Waterford. Well, then obviously they don't play Cork. They avoid them in the semi-finals. They couldn't play them till the final, and obviously they have been the nearest challengers to Cork over the last couple of years. I mean, the bookies probably have them second favourites for a reason, but like you said, we haven't seen them, so we're going to have to see it. I mean, their last performance, especially the league final against Cork, was very disappointing. I mean, it was fairly conclusive for Cork that day, and I'm eager to see what Galway have here today.
Interesting to see what Galway will have then. Brian Brophy will be joining me on commentary. Hopefully you can stick with us, and of course we recognise today, of course, that this is our pride round of our All-Ireland Camogie Championship. Of course, intermediate action on as well today, and we will be bringing you the results and also updates on scores that are coming from the other pitches around the country. But we support and endorse the pride round here this afternoon in our All-Ireland Camogie Championship. So it is Kilkenny against Galway in UPMC Nowlan Park. Myself and Brian Brophy on commentary action. It's all on the way shortly. Hey, welcome back. We're up in the gantry getting ready for the action. And Brian, one thing I noticed when I was down on the field, that breeze is significant.
It is significant, yeah. It's just blown into our left-hand corner here, down towards the Kieran's graveyard end. So it is significant. It's more down and across.
So interesting to see as Katie Power comes in to meet with Ray Kelly. Ray being helped out today by Brian Carney from Kildare and Brian Deering from Carlow, and the two captains, Katie Power and of course Carrie Dolan, coming in there alongside Ray Kelly. We see them in for the toss. Ray giving his few words of encouragement, what's to be expected from them. Give you the Kilkenny team because there are two changes. Daniela Quigley is in for Ciara Phelan, and Caoimhe Kerr Murta is in for Sophie Holden. So it's Aoife Norris of Piltown in goal, Michelle Tehan of James Stephens, Tiffany Fitzgerald of Young Ireland, and Danielle Quigley wearing number 18 of O'Loughlin Gales. It's Niamh Deely of James Stephens, Laura Murphy of O'Loughlin Gales, and Caoimhe Dowling of Dixborough. At centre field it's also Dixborough's Ava O'Gorman and Laura Green of O'Loughlin Gales. In the half forward line it's Mary O'Connell of Clara, Steffi Fitzgerald of Young Ireland, and Sarah Barco of Thomastown. Aoife Prendergast, who hit 111 against Dublin, will be wearing the number 13 shirt, she from Dixborough. Piltown's Katie Power is the captain. She will wear 14 after a great performance she had against Dublin, having played at centre back in the previous games. And then coming in wearing number 21, of course, with the famous heritage, Caoimhe Kerr Murta of the Rower Inishtig. Galway, have we been told, line out as selected in the programme. That will be Sarah Healy of St Thomas's in goal, Sean Healy of Ardrahan, Dervla Higgins of Athenry, the vice captain, and Rachel Hannafy of Ormore Marie. She will complete the full back line. The half backs line of Ciara Hickey of Davits, Emma Hellebert of Balladreen, and Anne-Marie Starr of Killimer. At centre field it's Amy Hessnan of Shamrocks and Carrie Dolan of Clarenbridge. Niamh Mallon of Portaferry will be wearing the number 10 shirt, Alwyn Rabbit of Athenry, and Aoife Donoghue of Mulla, the vice captain. Mairead Dillon of Kilnossaran, alongside Sabina Rabbit of Athenry and Ailish O'Reilly of Oranmore Mary. That completes the Galway lineup. And of course, since we last saw Galway play, Brian, the word coming through, the big loss of Anya Keane, of course, doing her ACL and operation ahead next month. A big loss for Galway.
A massive loss. I think really, really big loss. I mean, she's their leader. She has been their leader this year. And it'll be interesting to see how they go without her.
That's going to be a factor. As we know, Galway have been the ones now that obviously there was the week off, and then they had a bye the last day. So it's 3 weeks since we've seen Galway. Of course, they defeated Dublin in a tight enough game, and the first game when we televised that, of course, 15 points to 1-6. Then they had a fairly comprehensive win against Derry by 4-25 to 5 points before they had the bye. Whereas Kilkenny, after defeating Derry, all of a sudden couldn't hit snow off a rope, as such as Tommy Shefflin agreed with me against Waterford, 17 points to 10. They really struggled in that encounter, and they came back then to put on a very good team performance against Dublin, 119 to 114. They came away with the victory there. But of course, Kilkenny know their group stages are finished today, so as you all rightly have said, Brian, they need to get the win here today. Whereas Galway know they still have 2 rounds and they're home to Waterford next week. As we pause for Oran Naveen. There you have it then with our own Naveen, giving you some of the latest scores in this group. Waterford 2-8, Dublin 8 points. That's 32 minutes gone. I think it's into the second half of that one. That could still have a word on this group there. If Dublin were to fight back, Tipperary beat Limerick 426-8, and Cork defeated Clare 21 points to 1-9. So that puts Cork top of the table, 3 games played, 9 points. Tipperary then are second with 3 games played, 6 points. Then it's Clare with 3 games played and 4 points, and Limerick then are in that kind of no man's land of 3 games played and 4 points, with Wexford on the bottom with 3 games played and no points. So of course next weekend Limerick have 4 games played and 4 points. Limerick don't have a game, so they're watching everybody else fight it out, and essentially that's Tip and Clare fighting it out for who is going to be where in the quarterfinals as we get games up and running here. We will be keeping an eye on Waterford and Dublin. Waterford having that 2-goal lead as such. So the ball breaks. Referee felt that was head high. He was pointing at the head there anyway, and Carrie Dolan as they attacked the city end with that stiff enough breeze against them, getting that ball forward, and it's Sabina Rabbit that took it well, and she's still going. Rabbit going early. Rabbit going to have a low one, but was redirected there a little bit. Alexa put the ball over the bar. That could have been a goal chance there, Brian, there's no question about it, but you'd have to credit Tiffany Fitzgerald somewhat.
Yeah, she got back just to deny her, but great take by Sabina Rabbit and a great start to the game in Galway.
28 seconds gone then. Sabina Rabbit with the opening score. Got 1 in her opening game against Dublin. Got 1-1 against Derry. She's already on the scoreboard here today. Exactly what you want from your full forward. Down the other end then, it's a chance for Kilkenny's number 10, Mary O'Connell. Got 2 against Dublin the last day, but that's a wide here, and that comes in still in the first minute. That breeze is significant on Kilkenny's back. Hand up in the air from Ray Kelly. He's the match official. Obviously seen something allowing the advantage. Galway have control of it. Galway always found Kilkenny a difficult venue to come to, and I remember a few years ago covering the game during those COVID times. Of course, a massive victory it was for Galway on the way to win an All-Ireland when they defeated Kilkenny down in Callan. You felt that there was an awful lot of pressure taken off that team that day when they came away with that victory. So it's never easy for Galway in Kilkenny. And this is probably the game of the weekend as Ailish O'Reilly pops that ball up and over the bar. Ailish, big Liverpool supporter, happy I'm sure with the league win this year, puts that ball over the bar and follows on from her 2 points against Derry with a point here today. 2 points and no score. Galway lead, and they've started into that strong breeze now. It's got stronger up here. Definitely the temperature has dropped, Brian, no doubt about that. Kilkenny need a response quickly, you feel here.
Yeah. Yes, they do. I mean, Galway have looked really, really sharp. I mean, we've said they haven't played for a few weeks, but by God, they must have been going and training, because they really started really well, very sharp. But here's a chance now for Aoife Prendergast, and where she was hitting them against Dublin, you'd be expecting this one to be going over.
Yeah, so Aoife, of course, came up with 111 that day. Had scored 2 points against Derry. And then all of a sudden took over the free taking duties from Laura Murphy after Kilkenny had rejigged the team around a little bit, moving Laura Murphy and Katie Power and whatever. So Aoife, as he said, had such a day against Dublin, puts that tight to that left hand upright, and it's gone to the left and wide. So
commentator's curse on that one I put on her.
But sometimes I find with Aoife, she might need to hit one wide before getting into a groove as that ball is knocked forward, and looked like Sabina Rabbit was being fouled. She got away from the attentions of the defensive marker there, popping the ball inside now, trying to get running onto it there. Aoife Donoghue, Mulya, and it's Riley. Riley's still coming, bearing down. The shot is blocked away. She saw her name in lights there, Aoife Riley, and it's gone out. Or I should say Ailish O'Reilly, and it's gone out to the left and wide. Just never caught it ultimately, and I think was maybe put off by the Kilkenny defence. Some of that now, Brian, the last 2 chances have been, close enough goal opportunities for Galway.
Yeah, really should have been a goal for Galway, but I thought it should have been a free out. Looked like a free on Danielle Quigley, not given, and Galway didn't take advantage.
Ball is down here towards the other change, of course. Caoimhe Kerr-Murta getting the ball inside here now to Laura Green. Laura looking to kick it on and get away from the attentions of Rachel Hannafy. Still digging it out. You can tell the pace in this game all of a sudden is a lot quicker and faster. Hoping Tom is enjoying his debut on the camera here, as this pace is picking up here. 4 minutes gone. Kilkenny going to have a shot off there from their number 12, Sarah Barco. She puts that ball over the bar. A point the last day against Dublin. She's a point here. And there are 4 minutes gone, and it's Kilkenny's opening score. She was right just on the back of the ruck and found herself a bit of space. Turned on her right hand side, turned on to her left, and then struck off the right over the bar. Niamh Mallon, of course, recently married, and back with home club of Portaferry within the Galway colours. Of course, long time resident now of Galway. looking to turn and go there, but was fouled and given the free, and the chance here now with Carrie Dolan. Of course, Carrie, one of the finest free takers in the game of camogie, has been for many a year. 11 points against Dublin, 8 points against Derry. She will be the tallies woman. Cathal Murray's obviously feeling it a bit cooler down on the sideline. The top is on now. 2 points to 1, 5 minutes gone. UPMC Nowlan Park. It's the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, brought to you by Glen Dimplex. So you're on the Camogie Association YouTube channel. The shot from Dolan, asking a lot, dropping it in. That'll tell you the breeze. She gave that absolutely everything. Ball is out to the middle, where it's Laura Murphy stepping inside, playing it to the number 9, Laura Green. Laura won't be missed. The orange boots on today as she drops that ball down into the corner, looking for a run out of Prendergast. Ball breaks and looking around. Katie Power never stopped running against Dublin, over and back the field, keeping her direct marker honest there. And Dervla Higgins is going to have her hands full watching Power. Power was in some form against Dublin. Kilkenny have cut that out with Cueva Dowling directing it across the field here and trying to drive onto it now as Ava O'Gorman. O'Gorman looking for Power. Power out in front, drops the ball, first time of asking, getting in and nicking in on it, doing it well, and the ball might work out here. Sarah Barco had a shot off. Fitzgerald is going to follow it through. She's still going, trying to be held up there by Higgins. Ball is on the ground, trying to keep an eye on it there. Prendergast maybe looking to dig in. Also is Cueva Caramurta. Ball is with Galway. Look like they have it in the hand and trying to drive out with it there is their number 6, Emma Hellebert. Hellebert finds the sideline and, well, typical maybe of a defender, get it out of the trouble that was kind of emanating there. Kilkenny again, just it probably wasn't clean to the hand, Brian.
No, just not clean to the hand. It bobbled around. Galway just scrambled it clear, and Emma Hellebert went for Rose Ed. Take no chances. Yeah,
just looking at what's going on in the square there, it looks like there's a physio coming in as Kilkenny wait. Bit of off the field action there. Watching a run. Yeah.
The helmet's off.
Laura Green was looking to get involved there, and Aoife Donoghue usurped her over on the pitch. But Hellebert, is it? He's looking at the action inside Ned Square. I think it's Shauna Healy, was it?
Yeah, I think it's Shauna Healy there. Yeah,
Shauna.
And, well, Barry was right beside her, but they're all kind of told these days, take off the helmet.
Well, it won't
be anything done quickly.
Yeah, Waterford 2-11, Dublin 8 points after what we have is here is 43 minutes. Intermediate Championship, full times, Offaly 2-14, Westmeath 2-6, Antrim 4-19, Meath 13 points. We were given the wrong scores earlier on because that's what we were being sent, but Kildare was kind of finding it unusual, and no disrespect to Kildare, that they were beating Kerry, but it was Kerry with a significant victory there, 220 to 4 points, and Down defeated Carlow by 114 to 1-5. Those four counties look like the ones that will be in the mix, obviously, for that intermediate championship of Offaly, Antrim, Kerry and Down. As that ball is knocked long, we're worrying about the senior championship here, and Kilkenny on their home pitch with Tiffany Fitzgerald pirouetting very, very well. It has to go back to Tifa Norris. Aoife probably won't thank her for it, but she works it out here to Michelle Tean. James Stevens player steps inside, and here's a shout from Cueva Dowling. Dowling has low trajectory ball, send it in to Katie Power, but Katie Power was cut off that by
Shauna Healy,
and Shauna was fouled as she was coming out, and it's going to be a free. And Galway might be happy with the stop-start nature now that's developing, because, as we said, a significant breeze here at UPMC Nowlan Park. You're watching the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. This is Group 2, Round 4, another round next weekend, and that may be just deciding who finishes where in the group. It'll be a cracking game, it would seem to be, Galway and Waterford, because if Waterford win and Galway win, Waterford still top the table. Two will be on 9 points, but essentially then next weekend in Galway it will be who will be straight to a semi-final and who's heading to the quarter-finals. Dublin, as we know, need to beat Waterford and then need to beat Derry well next weekend if they're to trouble things, but it's not going their way at the moment. So that looks like this group is going to work itself out, but essentially it's going to be who will be in a semi and who will be in a quarter-final next weekend. Whereas in the other group we have Cork topping it on 9, Tip now have 6, Clare have 4, but they have all games next weekend, whereas Limerick are now finished the championship. They have 4 games played, they got 4 points. They're waiting on a miracle as such to happen if they're to have still a say in the quarter-finals. Wexford, and currently the way things stand, and Derry will be in the relegation final. I think I have those permutations right, Brian.
Yes, I think you're correct.
Ball knocked long anyway, as we watched the action. 2 points to 1. Looked like they were going to shoot the lights out, and it's gone a little bit stale in the last minute or two. But here's Power now, trying to lighten it up. Shauna Healy trying to keep a track on her. Cueva Kermorta, short angle, puts a ball
over the bar,
tight and over the bar. I would have called. The umpires are still just to be sure, but the flag is going up, and Cueva has a point on the board.
Great catch by Katie Power. Popped it off to Cueva, and she flashed it over the bar.
She got a point against Derry the opening day when everything went so right for Kilkenny. Tommy Shefflin and Pat O'Neill patrolling the sideline here. 2 right, 2 together as Aoife Donoghue takes it for a little bit of a trip down UPMC Nowlan Park with Niamh Deely for attention. And Donoghue, wily dog for the hard road, knows how to draw the foul. 1-2 she got against Derry, the vice captain of this Galway team, a long time servant, wins the free.
And she made the run all the way from the other wing right across. I mean, obviously a set play from the puck out. Absolutely brilliant play. Drew the free, and now we have a chance for Carrie Dolan to open her account.
Brian Deering, the match official there that you can see in camera from Carlow, right beside Carrie Dolan. Match official in the middle is Ray Kelly, and Brian Carney is over on the far side. Dolan has a shot. We're waiting on the umpire. Brian is giving me the nod here. That's over the bar. Carrie Dolan then.
Yeah, I was right behind it. Over the bar, Carrie Dolan.
So in the 12th minute, it is 3 points to 2 in favour of Galway. Hope you're enjoying the action then, as he said here on the Camogie Association YouTube channel. Cueva Kermorta has a shot. It's up and over the bar, and maybe that ball is on the roof of that stand. Mightn't be found. Good score from Cueva, 2 in a row.
2 in a row. For me, one of the best young forwards in the country, especially inside. But Kilkenny went with the old 1-2 there with the strong breeze, and Aoife Norris launched it. They won second ball and over the bar.
3 points apiece. This the Pride round, of course, celebrating Pride and everything that associates with the game of camogie. On a day weather-wise starting to change a little bit. Breeze
strong
has significantly picked up. We're feeling it up here in the gantry, which we weren't in the first game, and that means the temperature has dropped as that ball knocked forward comes off of the head, I think, of Steffi Fitzgerald and out for a wide there.
Yeah, Killian, the breeze has really gotten up from the first game, from the under-23 match.
Well, the fact that we're feeling it up here in the gantry, will tell you it mightn't be as stiff down on the pitch, but you can see the flags are now definitely straining on the flagpoles, so that might be a factor for Kilkenny that they might need to use. Dolan getting on this ball, gets a shout up along the wing from Niamh Mallon. Niamh, of course, one of the most diminutive forwards in the game, cracking player, got lots of points the last day, 9 in total, but that ball dropped short in that breeze. She probably needed a little bit more. Norris, simple ball out to Ava O'Gorman. O'Gorman infield. Here's the shout from her midfield partner Laura Green. Laura, bit of an over elaborate pass to Laura Murphy, but they've worked it out, have they? Eventually, yes. Green and Murphy, the two Lauras linking up, and it's the one with the green helmet and the green in her name as well. Let's say, oh, lovely little bit of a step there. She showed a bit of clear heels there to Mairead Dillon, getting this ball forward. Can Kilkenny work something out of it? They've overcomplicated it now a little bit, and Shauna Healy is there, hits the deck, getting in to sweep it out, and Galway look like they've done the needful to be able to get this ball out. Kilkenny should have pulled the trigger, I think, about one play before they did, Brian.
Yeah, I thought she should have had a go off of her when she was running through. She just ran into a bit of traffic, and Galway got the numbers back, and now they've worked it out.
Yeah, Dillon dropping short, gets the ball forward, but she's the player that's out the field and then drops it into position that she probably would be in. Kilkenny have a player back there sweeping on the action, and Daniela Quigley over on the far side getting a bit of a cheer from the crowd as she tries to come down along the wing, but overcooks the pass, and it's on the deck now. Galway trying to pick it up. Aoife Prendergast out there trying to disrupt the attentions of the Galway player trying to get forward in there, as well as Cueva Dowling. Ball has come back to Galway looking to recycle it and going to go along with it, dropping here in the direction of Mallon. Looked like she got a high hurl on the head there, but play allowed to be continued, and Michelle Tehan think there was maybe 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I think once Niamh felt the contact, she also pulled away at Tian's hurl. Ray Kelly happy to let play continue. Carrie Dolan now can have a swipe at that, but Sarah Barker getting in there, and it's on to Green. Green looking to launch it long here into Power. Oh, lovely little play. Oh, just it looked like it was going to be class into Murtagh's pocket, but it was a foul. The referee was allowing advantage, and he's basically telling Amy Heslin to walk away because she's thinking of giving him any hassle. 15 minutes gone. No call for water or anything in this game here, but as he said, temperature's a little bit different. And into the Hebron Road end here, Kilkenny have a chance to go in front. Aoife Prendergast, but it's a tight enough angle. What do you think of 15 minutes gone, Brian?
Yeah, I think Kilkenny have settled into the game. They are playing with a significant breeze, but Katie Power and her little combination with Caoimhe Murtagh is certainly causing problems for the Galway full back line. But I think Kilkenny would want to be at least 4 or 5. I think at half time. I think it's that much the breeze. We'll wait and see.
Aoife Prendergast.
She got that one.
She sorted that one out anyway after the earlier one, and has put the ball over the bar. Waterford well underway to top in the group. 3 points on the way with 9 points in total, 3 games played. 4-14 to 9 points to now lead into the closing stages. They've shot the lights out in the last while. Goals from Annie Fitzgerald, Abby Flynn. Niamh Rockett has got 1-5. She just seems to be getting better the older she gets. Bet Power 1-4, or Bet Cartley I should say 1-4. So Waterford, after everything went on early in the season, look like Brian, they're cooking at the right time, are they?
Yeah, as I said to many people, I think from 8 to 15 as good as Cork. I think Waterford will put scores on the doors. Can they keep it out the other end against maybe, obviously a Cork, maybe a Tipperary?
Well,
that would be the question mark I would have on Waterford, but certainly going forward.
They head to Galway next weekend, and that might decide matters with placings in the group. Because with Dublin now being beaten there in that, as we said, the position in the table, that'll be fourth, no man's land essentially. So then it's just between Waterford, Galway and Kilkenny to sort out the places, as that free is on its way but dropping out to the left and wide. Sometimes the wind isn't always your friend.
No, she's missed 2 today. I think she only missed 1 last week out of, I think, 10. So that'll tell you.
Ball is picked up and recycled quickly by Kilkenny. Gorman getting it forward here. Number 12 on the back is Sarah Barker of Thomastown. Has a run and a shout outside from Niamh Deely. Deely sees that ball go in and out, and they're not great chances, Brian, to be taken.
No, the wrong decision by Sarah Barker. Should have just popped it to Niamh Deely coming off the shoulder. Took the wrong decision. Wasn't the shot, wasn't the pass.
2 wides in quick succession.
Succession. Kill time. Galway will be happy with that.
Galway will be happy with it. Takes the air out of the Kilkenny balloon a little bit, but they continue to lead here 4 points to 3. As we said, Waterford well on the way to win against Dublin. That would put them top of the table. Whoever wins here then would go second. But for Kilkenny, it means done and dusted in the group stages, and then Galway would know that they beat Waterford. Well, that would maybe shuffle things around a little bit, but if Waterford win today, they're in prime position of that they're going straight into a semi-final. Cork, well, it's done and dusted for them. No disrespect to Wexford, that's who they have in their last game next week.
Well,
so
I think the Waterford result, Killian, means Kilkenny can't win the group.
Yes, but they're going to be in a quarter-final.
But can they be second in the group and play the third team in the other group? That's
the choice that they have, and we know that third team looks like it's going to be Clare. So you've Tip and Clare next week. That's a tasty one in that group, and obviously the tasty one will be Galway and Waterford in this group.
Oh yeah, that'll be the game of the round next week, Waterford against Galway.
What's the possibility of both of those games being shown? We'll wait and see. But you'll be hoping if there's one game going to be shown next week, it might be this Galway-Waterford game. But it all depends on the result of this game, because you want it to be as tasty as possible, don't you? As Niamh Mallon tried to play that ball forward, which she's been given advantage, and referee Ray Kelly, has he gone for the pocket here? I think he's probably fed up of some of the actions. Is it looking like Niamh Deely is going to get a card here? Niamh is trying to explain her cases, and Ray not having any of it. The other official you can see in the background there, Brian Carney. And he's saying to Niamh about the pulling of the jersey on a couple of occasions. And it's a yellow card to Niamh Deely. I think I see a friend of of our show over there in the background as watching Carrie Dolan. One of the spectators there as that ball is flighted in by Carrie Dolan up and over the bar. So 20 minutes on the clock, and that makes it a draw game here again. And for that ill discipline from Niamh Deely, a point for Galway. Ball breaks, Galway looking to send it in, but again, don't understand that. Brian hitting it right in on top of the sweeper. Ultimately, you have to be finding the corners of wings as that ball broke.
Yeah, you've got to take the sweeper out of play if you're going long.
Absolutely.
That has to be an angle ball.
Yeah, angle ball. Change made on the line there of whose ball it was going to be. It was being pointed as being a Kilkenny ball, but now Galway are the ones taking the sideline cut with Dervla Higgins out to the middle, but it's picked up by Daniela Quigley. Steps inside, Ailish O'Reilly looking to pop this ball over to Katie Power, but it was heading in her direction, but it fell short, and Katie letting those out the field know that the quality ball in seems to want to be better. Aoife Donoghue, who Brian, I have to say, has covered every blade of grass in Nowlan Park here at the minute, getting it forward here to Mallon, being tracked by Caoimhe Dowling, could get inside and has the pace to go if she wanted to. Flicks it back here towards Sabina Rabbit. Rabbit got the opening score of the game. Back to Mallon, who pirouetted out and around the traffic, but it's flighted out across the goal and out to the right and wide. This game, Brian, has all of a sudden gone back into a bit of a slumber.
No, gone back into a bit of a slumber. It's following the under-23 game between the two teams, really, and again we have 4 points each. That ended up a draw. What's the odds of this being a draw?
Yeah, and that'll get us overthinking permutations again, but anyway, 4 points apiece here. It is Pride round of the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. This is Group 2, Round 4. Of course, the Camogie Championship sponsored by Glen Dimplex. All fighting it out for the big day in Croke Park on August 10th. Premier, Junior, Intermediate and Senior finals. Make sure, folks, you get everybody out, as Brian, the President, has already asked for, to fill the stands that day in Croke Park.
Great catch.
Linking up here, Higgins and Helibert. And out the middle it comes with Ciara Hickey. Diagonal ball here towards Niamh Mallon. On the left, on the right, being tracked at all times by Caoimhe Dowling. Dowling holding her up. Mallon not getting it all her own way. Dowling digging in here. This ball, though, has been somehow taken out of that hole by Niamh Mallon. Back it goes here to Alwyn Rabbit. Of course, the sisters on the field of play here, getting the ball into the middle. Not a great ball for Mairead Dillon. Hits the deck and it's dug out by Laura Green, sending that ball straight down the field. But Galway have an extra player back there, and that ball is left behind by Caoimhe Kermurta. Eventually picked up by Higgins, giving the pop pass. Out it goes, driving forward there, Ciara Hickey. Crowd not happy that should have been probably considered a free in. It's a terrible rule anyway. Player trying to come out, expected to be able to get out of the way like that. The charge rule has to be sorted out in lady sports and GA. I don't care what anyone thinks, but play continues. Maybe a Congress will sort that one out someday, as the ball is out into the middle. Kilkenny looking to drive on it now. They're gone in, as you said, little bit in the slumber. Galway will be quite happy. They have the wind on their back. The sun has gone in behind the cloud. They have all the elements in their favour in the second half. Getting the ball forward. Mallon, lovely touch. Doesn't get enough on it though. Dropping down to Aoife Norris. She's happy to let it go to the left and wide. We're trying to big this game up, Brian, but it's starting to... Someone is going to have to go for the pads, I think, to shock it into life here.
Yeah, no, again, started really well, but it's really dropped off at the minute. Wasn't really on from Niamh Mallon, trying to hit that into the wind, going backwards over her shoulder.
Helibert knocking it forward. Mallon, a right ding-dong between these two now, Brian, emanating here. Mallon's on the ground, trying to dig it out. She's not going to be able to let Dowling get at it, so that's going to be a throw ball here.
Well, Galway seem to want to go to Niamh Mallon at every chance they get. It's ball after ball has been hit to her. So
now Mallon is down, and Mairead Dillon stretching out the leg here at the minute. Of course, Niamh is a very busy lady in the GA circles. Of course, she is nutritionist, of course, to the Galway footballers. Can be a busy lady. I'm sure weekends are quite busy for her. Water being distributed, with no water break call in this. There was in the under-23 game.
I was just going to say that, Killian. Obviously there was no agreement.
No, Anne-Marie Starr driving on now, being coming across, and Anne-Marie Starr could set it up for O'Reilly. O'Reilly's on the end of the hurl. Look at the step, he's hacked down from behind. What is Ray Kelly going to call? It's going to be a free in just outside, I think it is. But Ailish O'Reilly sighting goal, and then challenge from behind. Combination, it was outside, yeah. He's right on that. And Carrie Dolan will tap this over the bar, you would imagine. Combination of Caoimhe Dowling there, I think, and Tiffany Fitzgerald. As Ailish O'Reilly was, if she got beyond one of them, was thinking maybe at the back of that onion sack. Dolan just looking to the line to see, but I think, are they happy enough to tap this ball over the bar? 26 minutes gone. And Carrie puts that ball over the bar for her third point of the game.
Interesting, Kilkenny only put 3 on the line.
Yeah, it did.
You know.
It could have been a tester for her.
Yeah, it could have been. Especially against the wind.
I'd
again, want more Carrie than Dolan. That. Carrie Dolan hitting it now.
Absolutely.
21 yards.
Are Kilkenny and Tommy Shefflin thinking about changes? A couple of players warming up down below. As Aoife Donoghue thought about the long range effort off her right, goes on the left and pops the ball inside, but numbers back for Kilkenny. Michelle Tehan standing in the arc there, pops the ball over to the far side of the field. No football arc on this pitch, of course. Hollow turf of hurling in Kilkenny. Galway 5 points, Kilkenny 4 points. 26.5 minutes gone on our clock here. Crowd have been suitably entertained. Temperature though has dropped, wind has picked up, will suit Galway in the second half, but both teams playing well within themselves. As you'd imagine, a bit of a titanic struggle between these two teams. Down to the far side now, where Mairead Dillon trying to get on board with this, hacks the ball inside. Mallon is there, looked to get control of it, but the referee, I thought he was given advantage here with the handout, but he was actually marking that it was a sideline cut for Galway. Looks like Mallon is standing over this. Plays the ball inside towards Ailish O'Reilly. Ailish though pickpocketed a little bit there by centre fielder Laura Green. Green goes back to Norris. So expecting an awful lot of Norris. Was nearly pickpocketed there by Rabbit, and the umpire judges it to have gone wide. That was just a little bit too close for quarters, or Brian.
Yeah, I don't think Aoife Norris will thank Laura Green for that ball back to her. The one that she wouldn't have wanted.
So it goes down as a wide against Sabina Rabbit, but that could have been a chance with egg left on the face of the Kilkenny girls back there. Helibert steps in well. Here's a shout from our cornerback Rachel Hannafy. Hannafy drives it down along the wing here, looking for Mallon again. Mallon has been dealing with Caoimhe Dowling, and she's also been dealing with Michelle Tehan. She got away from Tehan without her hurl, but she wasn't able to find the right pass, and it's cut out well there by Daniela Quigley. Quigley giving it to Green. Green stepped into a bit of trouble and now can't get the pass away. Has a bit of a fly at it, gets it at the second time of asking. Pops the pass back into the middle. Chance for Tiffany Fitzgerald to deliver a boomer long down the field, and that's what it is. Hops in front of number 11 there, her sister Steffi. Ball is on the ground. It's Shauna Healy holding off the attentions there. Steffi Fitzgerald pops the pass to Emma Helibert. We've seen that combination before. Long time defenders, of course, of this Galway Camogie team. Giving it to Amy Heston, Shamrock's player. Took it into contact, overstepped the ball. Free for Pendergast, you would imagine, about 62 metres out. And this might give Kilkenny a chance to get level as we head towards the break. Running repairs, looks like to Niamh Mallon.
Again, this is very similar to Kilkenny's first game against Waterford. They went 4-1 up, and again that day they were playing with the wind. And I think they went in a half time, maybe level. And then obviously the second half, Waterford took over. So this is a very important free now for Aoife. She's missed the last two, and it's one Kilkenny need badly.
Additional time down in Waterford 4-16, Dublin 1-11. Aoife Prendergast standing over this free, has had a few shots at goal, 3 in all, has only scored 1. This one looks like it's gone over. Yep. Yes, it has. Umpire taking his time with the flag, but it's over the bar from Aoife Prendergast from long range out on the 30th minute, and it's 5 points apiece. Puck out to come from long time netminer Sarah Healy from St. Thomas's. Dropping that ball down on Rabbit. Breaks away. Here's Donoghue now. If she gets going, she'll light it up. Aoife Donoghue's on the top of the D. Going to settle and drop this over the bar. Lovely score. Aoife Donoghue, carbon copy score we've seen multiple times, Brian.
Multiple times, Killian. Great, and she's that great burst at pace. You know, she come off the shoulder, really no stopping her over the bar. Great score from Aoife.
And she utilised that space there that Kilkenny had vacated. And just after Kilkenny getting level, she pops the ball over the bar to go back in front. Long range effort from Norris, trying to find Caoimhe Kermorta down the far end, or maybe Mary O'Connell. It went over O'Connell's head onto Kermorta, but it looks like pulling out from the back is Rachel Hannafy tried to offload that ball and getting in there. Dervla Higgins from Athenry, the vice captain, being helped out by Amy Heston. Ball is on the ground. Kilkenny still fighting it out there as we close in on that ruck to see who is maybe going to come out with it. Still in there, Heston trying to kick it clear in there, as well as Aoife Prendergast, but it's a Kilkenny player that comes out with it off the break here. Chance maybe to get moving with Ava Gorm, but she hit the deck, and it's Galway coming driving out with it here now, and it's gone to Alwyn Rabbit this time. Has a shout in to her left hand side, and that comes from the number 5 Ciara Hickey going to have a shot from 45 metres out, drops it in and over the bar. Credit Ciara Hickey driving forward and putting that ball square over, and that gives them the lead, which we thought they weren't going to be able to take, Brian, literally a couple of minutes ago.
No, great score by Ciara Hickey. Screamed at Alwyn Rabbit to give it to her, went forward and stuck it.
Quigley stepping outside Rabbit, then looking to get inside Mallon. Pirouettes well out of that attempted tackle and fires a pass into the hand of Mary O'Connell. Mary hasn't really got going in this game though. She's such a key part of that Kilkenny forward line, and Galway have done enough though. They've got on a bit of a burst there, Brian, just before the half-time break, and could that be significant? Into the wind, they lead 7 points to 5.
Yeah, certainly with the breeze at their back in the second half, going in ahead. I'd say Cathal Murray is more than happy where they are at the moment. The only thing is, as we saw in the 23 game, one team went a point or two up, the other team gets a score and goes a couple of points up, and then they come back. Maybe this will take on the same life as the under 23 game, but overall, the happier the two, you'd have to be Galway going in.
Yeah. Tommy can't be happy though, Brian. A lot of, ball to hand just hasn't worked out for them. They were so clinical against Dublin. They were on the top of the ground. Everything was sticking for them. Today, maybe it's the quality of the opposition, no disrespect to Dublin, but it's not falling into the hand as cleanly.
No, it isn't. When they got that little run going there, Katie Power and Caoimhe Murtagh were causing problems and getting it in and popping it to each other, and hence the scores. But after that, it's dried up. I mean, 5 points playing with the wind at home. No manager's happy.
No, can't imagine after, as we said, that the game threatened to really spark into life in those opening stages, but Kilkenny have struggled to come about with the scores. We talk about Caoimhe Kermorta, those 2 points, Brian, in the space of about 70-80 seconds. They came around the 10-12 minute. Maybe Galway have got her number now. She hasn't been able to get loose. And Katie Power, that we saw so much damage against Dublin, and that set up an awful lot of scoring opportunities for the likes of Aoife Prendergast, either from place ball or from play. They're just not getting that space there this time.
No, they're not getting that space. The Galway defence has been really, really tight. That period, I think Galway could just drop the player slightly back a little bit then, just to shore it up in front of them. And then Kilkenny start rotating the forward. So Caoimhe Murtagh, where she was left corner forward, got a couple of points. Then all of a sudden she's gone the other side and then she's out. So Kilkenny were trying to move them and trying to find a way, but they haven't found a way.
Haven't found a way as it is at the minute. So with Waterford heading into the splashdown, I don't know where the additional time has come in Waterford, but they've now played, I think, a guts of 10 minutes of added time there. I don't know if there was an injury, but Waterford are leading 4-16 to 1-11 against Dublin. That would put Waterford on top. 3 games played, 9 points. Galway, as it would stand at the minute, 3 games played, 9 points, but they would be in second place. And then Kilkenny would have 4 games played and 6 points. Kilkenny guarantee themselves even in losing if they do, because Dublin have lost. They will be in the quarter-finals this evening, and even with the weekend off next weekend, it won't matter a toss in that regard. If Dublin had beaten Waterford, then maybe it would have got interesting. So Kilkenny, even in losing, are going to be in the quarter-finals, but I'm sure they would like to think they could win here, because knowing that obviously next week is a shootout between Waterford and Galway, it might impact who they play in those quarter-finals, because at the minute it would be Tipperary that they would be playing, and Galway would be playing Clare. That's the way it would be if the tables were to stop right now, the quarterfinals, and Waterford and Cork would go through straight to the semi-finals. We know those quarterfinals are to be played in Croke Park, and then the semi-finals, which is what Katie Power mentioned, Brian, if you remember, after the game against Dublin, she wanted to get to play an All-Ireland semi-final in UPMC Nowlan Park. That's what's still driving them.
Yeah, it's driving them, because the last couple have been here and they haven't been in it. And again, without getting into the realms of speculation, but if Kilkenny were to win, by my calculations, Waterford were already 12 points ahead of Galway. If the score remains the same against Dublin, they're plus 26 going to Galway. If Kilkenny were to win, I think Waterford topped the group tonight. But again, it's all speculation. The games still have to play out. We have the second half to contend with here.
Yeah, second half to have, and Waterford have just got confirmation of that, have won 4-16 to 1-11. So what we're going to do, folks, we're going to take a break here for the minute, and we will be back with you shortly. We'll round up all the day's scores, and then we'll be playing it out to the end to see ultimately what this means for the rest of the group, and where we might be looking at next weekend then, and what might be potentially a shootout for who finishes into the semi-final or who's heading to the quarter-finals. That's what's ahead next weekend. But here at half-time in UPMC Nowlan Park in the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, it's Group 2, Round 4. It is at half-time. The home side Kilkenny 5 points, but it's the Travellers from Galway. They're on 7. Right, you're welcome back here to UPMC Nowlan Park. It's Pride round of the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. It is a Group 2 round 4 encounter between Kilkenny and Galway, and at half time it is Galway that leads 7 points to 5, and they will attack the Hebron Road end of the ground. That's from right to left in the second half, having had a burst there before half time that saw them take that lead. Just to give you scores then, so let's have a look in the senior championship then. At half time here, 7-5. It finished up in this group 4-16 to 2-11. So 4-16 to 2-11. It still gives Galway, or I should say Waterford, an advantage on score difference over Galway, so that would still see them top the table with that win. So they go on to 3 games played and 9 points. Galway, if they win, will go on to 3 games played and 9 points. Kilkenny will have 4 games played after today. Dublin, unfortunately, have left themselves in a situation where they battle it out with Derry next week to decide who plays the relegation playoff final against Wexford. In the other group, of course, Group 1, Tipperary 426 to 8 point winners against Limerick. That moves them to second in the table. Cork, after an early scare of a concession of a goal against Clare, went on to win by 21 points to 1-9. So Cork top the table, 3 games played, 9 points. Tip 3 games played, 6 points. Clare 3 games played, 4 points. Limerick 4 games played, 4 points. Wexford have 3 games played and no points. So it would leave Cork, Tip and Clare. They're the 3 teams, and we know that Waterford, Galway and Kilkenny are going to be the 3 teams in this group. It's just going to be a case in point now, working out in this group especially who's going to be in the semi-final and who's going to be in the quarter-final. We know Kilkenny, even if they lose, will be in the quarter-final. Just waiting for officials to clear the deck. Just let you know, in the intermediate championship there were wins for Down, Kerry, Antrim and Offaly. They are of course the teams that many people will be expecting to be in the mix for the intermediate title. Eventually we clear the decks a little bit and we get up and undergoing for the second half here. Just coming up on 11 minutes to 5 in the marble city of Kilkenny and UPMC Nowlan Park. The ball is in the hand of Steffi Fitzgerald. We remember against Dublin she had a massive second half that ultimately ensured that came out with that 5-point victory. Katie Power trying to make it a bit of a battle there, coming in Steffi Fitzgerald, and somehow Kilkenny have dug it out with Mary O'Connell, giving it to the onrushing Ava O'Gorman, going away from goal though, and she's been tracked all the way there. Galway making a bit of a mess of it there. Their midfielders struggling, Amy Hessenen and Carrie Dolan, with Mary O'Connell and Ava O'Gorman in there, as well as Sarah Barco. Somehow Kilkenny have come back out with it. Will someone take a shot at the post? They do, fired it up high and handsome, and that ball is gone
Katie
over
Power.
the bar. Katie Power urging her troops on, and it's a 1-point game now. Katie Power is out around a bit of space here, Brian. That looks like to be the positional switch.
Yes, Steffi Fitz has gone inside and Katie has come out.
So 32nd minute of the game. Katie Power narrows the gap. 7-6 ball breaks. We know Kilkenny would prefer to be getting a win. That would mean that next week then, mightn't be as arduous on them. I know they're in a quarter final, but it might decide who they're playing in that quarter final. Ball is won by Steffi Fitzgerald, being urged by Tommy Shefflin to keep moving, dropping that ball in towards Mary O'Connell. Mary not giving up the fight on Dervla Higgins, looking to play the ball, and you have to credit Mary O'Connell. 4 Galway players in vicinity against herself, and she wins the free.
Yeah, sheer hard work won her the free. Sheer hard work, but Kilkenny coming out that little bit sharper from the throw in. Steffi Fitz out winning ball in front, Katie Power out winning, and the breeze has dropped a slight bit at the moment as I'm speaking, so it might be a good thing from a Kilkenny point of view, but yeah, we could be tied up here.
Could be tied up, in a very quick response from Kilkenny then at the start of the second half. Aoife Prendergast standing over this. This will be her 5th shot at goal. She's had 2 points, 1 from play, 1 from free, and 2 wides. Up comes Aoife then, and into the city end, puts that ball between the posts. And we have a draw game again. Ball knocked long, gets a fierce hop off the ground there, missed everybody, and eventually gets back in the direction of where Sabina Rabbit is able to get a touch on it, but Kilkenny come out with it, and it's good play by Kilkenny's centre back Laura Murphy, one of their star players this year, but driving onto it Aoife Donoghue. Aoife takes a bit of a hit and she's still going, straightening herself up and then made it into a challenge there. Not sure what the Kilkenny players could do when Aoife gets on that bit of a, bounce, you would call it, Brian. She's able to just throw her weight from either foot, and she's elusive in trying to be able to stop her.
Yeah, she could definitely go on Dancing with the Stars or Strictly Come Dancing, because Aoife has the moves. She did brilliant though to block Laura Green down. Laura Green really planted her feet and she blocked her down, took it on, and just like Mary O'Connell won a free the other end, Aoife's won at this end. Great play.
Yeah, Laura Murphy, I think, tried to stand her up there and is feeling the worst for the Wares. Carrie Dolan standing over this. Carrie, free taker, captain, probably not having as much of a say in general play at the moment.
No, I don't think midfield is her position, Killian, to be fair. I think really she needs to go into the forward line. Don't think she's as effective.
So her inimitable style of back nearly to goal. Look at the hands, the way they're crossed, and then, but they're effective. She puts it over the bar. Carrie Dolan for her fourth free, and her 4th point puts Galway back in front at 8 points to 7. You're watching the action on the Camogie Association YouTube channel with thanks to Entree, crew of Megan, Luke, and Tom. Bring you the camera action that you're watching. And you're watching Aoife Prendergast trying to get forward and get a touch on that to Cueva Kermurta, but it's cut out by Hellebert. Then it's cut out in return by Prendergast, trying to get in there and dig that ball out as Laura Green, but it's driving out here with Amy Heston, giving it off to Alwyn Rabbit, trying to find sister inside, or maybe even look for Mairead Dillon, but it's cut out by Tiffany Fitzgerald, getting it to centre back Laura Murphy. Murphy stepping out and hearing a shout from Quigley. Quigley shortens the grip, tries to pop it forward, touched by Cueva Kermurta. Not sure she meant that, but it worked out to Green, getting the ball forward now, trying to find Mary O'Connell. Connell looking to dig it in. Katie Power looking to dig in as well. Kilkenny have come up with a little bit of purpose starting the second half. It's a better game for it, but it's forming into a bit of a ruck again here. Mary O'Connell is still trying to move it. Ray Kelly is happy that the ball is continuing to move, but coming out with it there, doing it well. Alwyn Rabbit finds a bit of space, knocks the ball down into the corner, looking for Ailish O'Reilly. Ball flies up off of O'Reilly's hurl, and Tiffany Fitzgerald has time to go back and look around and pop a ball out to the middle here. Could have been Cueva Dowland, but instead it's made its way here to Michelle Tehan. Tehan up the middle. Don't think she meant for it to get to Ava O'Gorman, but O'Gorman lost sight of it a little bit, and it's been picked up here now by Galway's number 9, Carrie Dolan, the captain. Gets it somehow between the legs and pops the ball out here, trying to drive forward. And now Sabina Rabbit got the opening score of the game, top of the D, playing the ball to Dillon. Dillon goes in, crash ball, flights a shot up and over the bar. There's a cry from the Kilkenny defence, but I don't think Ray Kelly is going to care about that. Ball was taken on. He's quite happy for the contact, and I don't think there was a whole lot Ray Dillon could do about it anyway, so he lets the play continue. She puts the ball over the bar, Brian, and Galway in a bit of a groove again.
Yeah, Kilkenny got turned over working it out. A couple of bad decisions, the wrong pass to the wrong player, got turned over, just like the last score at Aoife Donoghue, and that's 2 in a row now for Galway.
Ball is played inside, could work out still for Rabbit. Tehan looking to come across now, clear heels and plays a dinky little ball, but too dinky there to get to Tiffany Fitzgerald. Fighting for it on the ground is Rabbit. Rabbit gets up somewhere and looking to drive forward, pull of the jersey, but the referee said it was on the steps as well. So I think it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and it's this time a free out. He's trying to explain to the Kilkenny player what the situation was, and now even though Kilkenny have a free, Ray Kelly looks like he's going to book Tiffany Fitzgerald. I would imagine must have been a bit of choice language. She wasn't asking him how he was anyway.
No, but I mean, both teams have played under Ray Kelly. I mean, let's be, he's the Brian Gavin of Camogie. He lets it go on both sides. He lets the game go, the physicality. They just got to get on with it and play. And I mean, they're getting booked for back talk.
Well,
he's been fair to both teams and letting it go. So
we saw that happen. Though I wonder, is there another directive this week or anything like that? For referees, definitely we saw it in the first game. Andy Larkin, eventually the verbals, if there was getting any, he wasn't listening to it, and there was a yellow card. 9 points to 7, 38 minutes gone. Ray Kelly awarding a free in, and Aoife Prendergast stands over this. Chance to narrow the gap. They want an ice cream.
Mr. Whippy.
99 with sprinkles, Brian, will that do you?
Yeah, I would, yeah. Indeed.
Aoife Prendergast standing over this. Send it on its way. Oh, that's a lovely score
Great
from Aoife Prendergast.
Yeah, she has her eye in now.
Yeah. As soon as that left the stick, even with the wind that she's facing.
Yeah. I think it has dropped a bit, though, to be fair. Not as strong as the first half.
Not as strong as it was with us here, all right. Sun is back out a little bit as well, and maybe temperature has risen again. But ball, look at that hop again. It's that part of the
corner.
field.
That corner
whatever it is, it's got away from the team. Chance inside.
Match.
Look, good opportunity. Maybe Dylan, if she could have set it on the way to Malin. But again, it's credit that
they've got it back.
Kilkenny defence, but somehow Rabbit has got it back. It's Donoghue looking to spin out of that. She shortens the grip, and Aoife Donoghue, she's absolutely dogged, Brian. When she's like a dog with a bone.
She
doesn't give it up in tight quarters.
That's the last 3 scores for Galway they've turned over the Kilkenny defence, coming out with the ball. That's brilliant work, Wade, from your forwards.
Yeah, and I was just about to credit the Kilkenny defence, how tigerish they can be. The win there by Niamh Deely, but then just coughed up that little bit too easy. Anyway, here come Kilkenny, looking to come searching again. Caoimhe Kermorta, lovely kill, but wasn't able to take it into possession. Scooped away there by Rachel Hannafy. UPMC Nowlan Park is the venue on a gorgeous summer's afternoon here in the Marble City. Who will be setting themselves up for quarter-finals or semi-final action? Galway know they have 2 games left. They entertain Waterford, who are now currently the table toppers after the win over against Dublin next weekend. That will decide who will top the group and be straight into a semi-final here in Nowlan Park in a few weeks' time, or who will be heading the quarter-final route and quarter-finals in Croke Park. Down in the far corner anyway, Brian Carney, the linesman on this side for the second half from Kildare. I think has called it as a Kilkenny ball, and Ray Kelly not happy with something again that's been said, I think, and he's going to talk, I think this time to Sabina Rabbit. And Ray's not a man that flashes yellow cards so often, and there's 2 in quick succession.
No, but we had it last week. We had it the other week too in Parnell Park when the same thing, Girls are getting booked for just back chatting to the referee, and it's only going to end up one way. And that's a yellow card.
Tommy Shefflin has seen enough. He's calling Sophie Holden. And Galway look like they're going to make Caoimhe Kelly and lots of stuff going on the line. Tommy Shefflin trying to urge on his crew, not overly happy with what's going on, maybe on the officiating front, but they do have the free, and they did see a Galway player book, so don't know what the whingeing's about as that ball breaks there. And a bit of a high challenge, and referee is not overly happy, and it looks like who's going to be
Green. Laura
Green, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think she could have any doubts on that. That ball was in the air, coming down on top of a player. Yeah, and we can see a replay of it here.
Yes, she just caught her.
Yeah, Now there was hurls up, but
it's why they've helmets on.
Yeah,
she'd no helmet though. That would have been, you could have been a bit of bother. Yeah.
Alwyn was asking for a bit of clarity there. It's a Galway free that Sarah Healy's come all the way out, and I wouldn't back against Sarah Healy putting this over the bar.
Yeah, I think is she a former long puck champion?
Yes,
I think she is. Yeah.
Ailish O'Reilly's day is done, and I think it was Caoimhe Kelly that went in there. I think 27 was getting ready. We've no fourth official, so hard to no board. Ball breaks inside. There was a couple of Kilkenny players going for a ball there that they probably shouldn't have been, and then there's a bit of a clearance there, and I think there's going to be a free in.
Yeah, Tiffy pulled, but she didn't get all of the ball, and Ray has deemed it a wild pull.
She's on a yellow card.
On a yellow card, and he's deemed it a bit of a wild pull. He's having a quiet word with her.
Sophie Holden is on the way in.
For Mary O'Connell.
Mary O'Connell coming off. So letting you know then as well, Caoimhe Kelly is in for Galway, and she replaced Ailish O'Reilly. Ailish got an early point, but struggling maybe to just be part of general play. Just the way the game has been going, it's been very, very tactical. Sun starting to slip behind the stand a bit, so shadow starting to appear just on the sideline as Carrie Dolan puts that latest effort over the bar. Into the 44th minute now. 10 points to 11 points, to 8. So Galway starting to open a bit of a gap here, Brian. You would think Kilkenny are going to have to find the back of the net, aren't they?
Yes, and to be fair, in the Dublin game they didn't really threaten the goal. The goal was a mistake, a slip, and they haven't looked like getting one in this game either, and I think could be a little bit of a problem with Kilkenny going forward.
Lovely take and move inside. Kelly going to have a shot. It's tight to that upright. Looks like it's over the bar. No, they're looking for a wide. There's not a hope. I don't know how Tiffany could call that wide. And now we're in trouble here, Brian. Ray Kelly's going in to talk to Tiffany Fitzgerald here now again.
I think that's a wide. I was right behind it here in our gantry now, and that looked like it had tailed away to me. But the referee has given it. It's on the scoreboard, but we don't have VAR or replay. But it's been given.
I don't know if
for me Megan, that was a wide.
If Megan wants to call it back up, I don't know if she caught it there, but we'll be able to look. But it's 12 points to 8. I'm going to disagree with you. I thought it was just in.
Did you? I thought it had tailed.
Yeah, it's tight anyway. But Galway now are in a position where they are dominating and in control. Short ball played. It's Alwyn Enright going to have a strike, dropping it in. Aoife Norris though has this all day and pops the pass out to the far side of the field where Michelle Tehan able to come up along the wing. Getting into that time now where Kilkenny, as we said, not sure they're going to rule off 5 points to be able to take the lead in this game. Getting on the ball is Sarah Barco. Need to search out something. Here it might work out. Power was just in behind. Chance could still work. Looking to come around the house a little bit is Steffi Fitzgerald. Ball left behind though. Galway have it. And it's worked out, but it's given away. Barco. Hand is up here from Caoimhe Kermurta, but they're not going to see it from there. That looks like a definite foul in the back. It's going to be a free in, and Kilkenny need this.
Silly free because Sarah's touch let her down, and the Galway girl just pushed her in the back and saw a bad free.
But Brian, when you look at it there, Kilkenny had a little bit of an overlap. Power is inside. Steffi Fitzgerald is getting on the ball, and there's a situation of where look where the free is now as Kilkenny make changes, and it looks like their midfield has been changed.
Eva O'Gorman coming
Eva
off.
O'Gorman off, and also off is Laura Green. Laura Green was on a yellow card. Maybe that's a part of that decision.
Kellyanne, looks like to me from the top here, is it Kellyanne Doyle? Kellyanne is in.
So Kellyanne Doyle is in wearing 27 and looking for the other number.
And Miriam Bambrick. Miriam Bambrick.
Oh yeah, 17 is there, yeah.
Over the bar from Aoife.
Over the bar from Aoife Prendergast with her 5th point of the game, making it 12 points to 9 into the 48 minutes. Don't forget, Waterford beat Dublin 4-16 to 2-11 today, cementing their place at the top of the table. Some bounce from Galway after everything went on earlier in the year. Waterford, I should say. Did I say Galway? Apologies, as that shot comes in from Sabina Rabbit, and that ball has gone over the bar, so perfect answer. The Galway backroom team happy with that down on the field. As I said, Waterford top the table. Galway look like they're going to be joining them, but it's only scoring difference making the play, and that game next weekend could be interesting, as here comes Steffi Fitzgerald. Kilkenny not giving it up on yet, and she is met unceremoniously, dumped to the ground, but I'd imagine it's outside. It's outside just about, similar to that chance earlier on. Oh yeah,
Amy
third man tackle. As such, Ray Kelly going to the card, all right. Now, I'm thinking, with the capabilities of Aoife Prendergast here, Brian, I don't care how many's on the line. This lady has power. Would you take the chance here? 20 metres out at an angle, not going to suit the defenders on the line. Would you have a pot?
Yeah, I would. They're 4 points down. They haven't looked like getting a goal. Game they have to win. 12 minutes to go.
Yellow card was given there. Shot from Doyle. No, she elects to, or from Prendergast, she elects to put it over the bar.
It gets them within the goal.
Yeah, but I still feel at an angle, defenders on the line are not going to like that coming from an angle. Straight on, maybe it's different. Anyway, that's just a personal preference, but it's over the bar from a Kilkenny point of view.
They haven't created the openings, and that's the reason I personally would have went for it, with her striking ability.
Looks like Katie Nolan is on the field of play.
Sarah Barco.
And Sarah Barco is the one that has come off with 50 minutes played. Looking for Katie Nolan to find the back of this onion sack, I'd imagine, as that ball breaks down towards Sabina Rabbit. Still looking to drive forward. Thought she had fouled the ball, but play continues. Back to Carrie Dolan, jinked right and left, and the ball might find its way through. Coming onto it, look at that. Mallon looking to pirouette and around and away from Fitzgerald. Gives it back to Dolan. Crash ball. Another dunk off the ball. Ray Kelly allowing the play to continue. That looked like a rugby tackle.
That was Tiffany again.
She's living on the edge here, there's no question about it. Tiffany Fitzgerald back out here towards Kelly, going to have a shot from a tight angle. Is this one? No doubt about it. Umpire, no, that one is gone
again,
to the left and wide.
I think like the last one, that was wide also.
You're going to sit on that, aren't you?
I'm going to sit on that, yeah. Let's hope it isn't the decisive one.
But surely Carrie Dolan deserved a free in there.
I agree. But then he might have had to send Tiffy off, would he? If he gave it.
Ball out to the middle. Breaks away from Cueva Kermurta. Donoghue. Oh, look at that play from Aoife Donoghue. Kept in play. She feet were out. The ball was in. With a lovely hook. You'd have to credit Danielle Quigley getting back there. But Brian, the bit of skill from Donoghue here on the line as the ball is flighted in up and over the bar. Is that Carrie Dolan with that?
Yes. Carrie Dolan.
Carrie Dolan with her first from play, her 6 point in all, 51 minutes. And that makes it 14-10. I still think Kilkenny are going to have to find the back of the net. Pucko from Norris, down the middle, looking for Fitzgerald. Has been in a right battle, but Hellebert is the one that's probably come out on top. Two players underneath it. Where's the ball gone? Oh, left behind, and they were lucky. Back she goes with it, is Sean Healy. Back to her goalkeeper, Sarah Healy. No relation, but they might as well be. They've been around together so long. Ball knocked long. Trying to find Niamh Mallon. And referee elects that is a free out, and I'd have to disagree with that.
So would I. I think a version of Swan Lake from Tiffy Fitzgerald.
Yeah, they were just falling together.
She just threw herself down, and I suppose from Ray's angle, looking back at it, he sees her going full stretch out, but not a free for me.
No, and Niamh Mallon was gone. Anyway, 14 points to 10. Ball knocked long away from Murta again, and Galway quite happy to keep that play out. Cueva Kermurta takes the ball out of Cathal Murray's hand. He'll be happy with what he sees to some extent. They're going to win, and it's not an easy place to come and win. Or will they win? Kilkenny not giving up the ghost. Shot comes in. It looked like a block away there from Shauna Healy. Or was it? No, umpire is giving it as a wide.
Yeah. Sophie Holden.
I thought it got a touch, but no, it didn't. 14 points to 10, and the Galway backroom team asking them to slow it down. Don't need to be in a rush. They are going to be joint top at the table, just scoring difference, separating themselves from Waterford if this result sees its way out. What did you say Waterford had in Galway before this game? Plus 12.
Plus
Waterford
12.
won by 4-16 to 2-11.
Well, it just
That's 11 points.
It just give Waterford the draw next week would do Waterford.
Yeah.
If this stays the same, if Galway win, a draw would do Waterford.
So that was a 23-point difference, wasn't it? And then you take off the 4 of this, so 19 points in the difference.
Yeah. It would just give Waterford the draw. She looked very sharp since she's come on, Caoimhe Kelly.
Yeah.
Very sharp, very good young player.
Trying to shorten on this and send it towards the upright, gone to the left and wide and get. That's got to be some concern from Cathal Murray. Some of the chances have been poor options taken.
Asha McCarty's in for Kilkenny. For Caoimhe Murta.
So Caoimhe Murta is off. 54 minutes. And
Asha McCarty.
Yeah, Asha.
Yeah, and started so well, Caoimhe, but never got into the game afterwards. Really thought she was going to light it up here today.
Yeah, the way things were going, all right.
The way it was going, but just went out of the game.
So Tommy Shefflin has played all the cards now, I think.
Yeah.
And referee judges that Laura Green illegally played that ball. And this game now is probably petering out to a Galway victory here. Carrie Dolan taking her time. 54 and a half minutes on our clock there. This the Pride round of the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, brought to you by Glen Dimplex. You're watching on the Camogie Association YouTube channel. Earlier on, of course, we saw a draw between these two counties in the Under-23 Championship that saw Galway and Kilkenny draw. Kilkenny 12, Galway 1-9. It means that Cork play Tipperary and Galway hosts Kilkenny next weekend in those semi-finals. I'd imagine Galway and Kilkenny and maybe Galway and Waterford will be played as a double header. Maybe not, but they will be next weekend. Fixtures next weekend: Galway and Waterford, Derry and Dublin. Kilkenny sit it out, and that ball went over the bar from Carrie Dolan.
A great strike from Carrie. Absolutely great strike. Sweet. Straight over the bar. 4
point of this second half.
Trouble.
7 points in all. 6 from a free, and ball is out to Niamh Mallon, and Niamh Mallon fights it over. And I think the air is starting to go with the Kilkenny balloon here a little bit, Brian. That's Niamh Mallon's first point.
Yeah, Aoife Norris trying to force a puck out straight to Niamh Mallon, sent straight back over her crossbar.
16 points to 10. So goals needed now. But Kilkenny, that looked a bit high. Play is allowed to continue. Kilkenny will be in a quarter final anyway because of Dublin's loss. They are in a quarter final. Who will they be playing? Well, they have to sit back and maybe just see how things work out next weekend, because Kilkenny, as I said, they have the bye next weekend. They're going to finish third in the group. Ball popped out here into the hand of Kellyanne Doyle. Over towards Katie Nolan. Nolan, a long way from goal, needs to be closer, I think, if they're to find the back of the net. Pops the ball all the way out here to Laura Murphy. Murphy stepping inside the immediate challenge of Heslin, still driving forward, and that's a cracking effort from Laura Murphy up and over the bar. We probably haven't seen enough of that, Brian.
No, she stepped forward from centre back, took it on, and we said it earlier, been Kilkenny's best player all year for me, but I think it's too little too late. 5 points behind. You said it yourself earlier, Killian, they need goals, and bar the one against Dublin last week, which was a Dublin mistake, and they didn't score against Waterford. I think it's something that the Kilkenny management are going to have to look at. How can we get goals?
Yeah, well, if they're to advance any further, and we said the target for this team minimum was to be back here in an All-Ireland semi-final when those semi-finals take place. Looked like a throw there with Alwyn Rabbit, but letting you know that Galway have made a change. Mairead Dillon has gone off. I'm not sure the player that has come in. That ball is from a tight angle with Dolan. Send it high and handsome and up and over the bar. Carrie Dolan all of a sudden in a bit of a groove here.
score the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant strike from Carly Dolan.
If Megan is watching, we might call that one up for looking on social media in the next while. Cracking effort from Carrie Dolan there. Ball out to the middle, and all of a sudden Galway just, well, I suppose Brian, Kilkenny have just stepped off a little bit, and Galway are full of running, aren't they?
They're full of running, yeah. They did the job really in the first half, and as you're seeing, Terry Healy and goals going long with the puck outs all the time. Here we go, could be in for a goal, icing on the cake, and there it is.
And there it is. And again, Kilkenny defence turned over by Galway attack, and it's the sub that's just in, Niamh Nyland, who's only on for Maria Dillon in the last minute, was able to get in there in a crowd of players, and just as Aoife Norris came out, put the ball in the back of the net. It's what was needed at the other end.
They've coughed up a good few scores. Kilkenny's trying to work the ball out. But Galway have just got on top. I think the big thing was they went in against the wind up at half time, and Kilkenny got level, they've kicked on again. And Kilkenny are trying to force things now. When you get behind, you force the game, you make mistakes, and they'll be made pay.
Looks like Lana Kelly and Siobhan Gardner are coming in. They're on the line there just waiting for the paperwork as Aoife Prendergast takes this free, but it's just probably get players out on the field of play. Brian, be thinking about player of the match there quickly, as we have an award to give at the end. Aoife Prendergast dropping this in, but ball is batted away there by Sarah Healy. Interchange of passes, and Galway have already moved and stepped up and charging out here. This lady's been on a lot of ball in the second half, especially Alwyn Rabbit, but she charged into that. And subs coming in here now.
17 and 21.
So that's Alana Kelly wearing 17, Siobhan Gardner wearing 21.
Eight is off.
Looks like is it Amy Heston?
Amy Heston's one of them been called ashore. And
yellow helmet there of Anne-Marie Starr, is it?
Anne-Marie Starr, yeah. Yeah. Oh, definitely first half.
Ball is knocked in, and it's dropped out to the left and wide. I don't know if it's the temperatures or what, Brian. It's definitely got a bit stifling here now. Again, the breeze has dropped, and that just seems to have knocked the air out of Kilkenny, hasn't it?
It has, and they came out the start of the second half. The first couple of minutes got back to level, and I thought, right, we've game on here. But this is petering out now, and I'm looking at the scoreboard, and it's 9 points ahead to Galway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that a few minutes into the second half, but they're fully deserved. They've been on top. They fully deserve it.
But it won't do Galway's scoring average any harm if it comes down to that with themselves and Waterford, as Aoife Healy launches another boomer down the field, trying to track that all the way. Over there is Miriam Bambrook, but it's going to make its way all the way to Sabina Rabbit. Two Rabbits again have been quite busy in this game, mightn't have been on the scoreboard, but Niamh Mallon was going in hard on that ball, but I don't think there was any malice in it. Caoimhe Dowling was okay and got that ball moving quickly. As we know, you're foul, you can move on to free through the hand. Haven't seen a whole lot of that lately, but Rabbit, that's Alwyn. Sabina wears 14, gives that ball away, and it's repurposed down the field by Miriam Bambrick. 117 to 11, petering out here now, as we know. But Kilkenny coming over the far side with power, looking to shrug off the attentions. But Katie's found it tough going today, Brian. You know, it was either at different stages Shauna Healy, Dervla Higgins, and Rachel Hannafy, I think.
Just she has, but she hasn't stopped showing. As shown by that, as captain, to give her due, the game is gone, and she's still looking and showing for the ball, which is a great sign to lead. But for me, they have to find some way trying to score a few goals. They just don't look like scoring goals, Kilkenny.
Well, Tip got into a groove of scoring goals, and if it's Tip they're meeting in the quarter final, you know, they're going to have to watch out for that one, as Aoife Prendergast scores her fifth of the second half, her seventh in all, and 6 from place balls. 117 to 12 points. we'll have our player of the match, and also we'll hear from, hopefully, winning manager at the end of the game as that ball is knocked long. Aoife Donoghue always on the ball. Dolan trying to drive this high and handsome. Is this a cherry on top? No, it's gone out to the right and wide. Kerry has been fairly economical today. 8 points that she's got, 2 of those from play, after scoring 8 points the last day and 11 on their first game. So significant tallies from Kerry Dolan, continuing and driving this Galway team on. They will be at home to Waterford, so battling it out for a top of the table finish next weekend. Kilkenny, after Dublin losing today, are assured of a quarter-final place, knowing that they have next weekend off. And the referees call for the ball. 117-12 it has finished up. That is significant from Galway in the second half there, Brian. 110 to hit to Kilkenny's 10 points. A game that looked like, you know, Kilkenny come out and got level, and they had an opportunity maybe that they could have found a goal chance, but it didn't come a begging. And after that, really, Galway took over and they just kept them at arm's length and then pushed on their lead.
They did. Kilkenny came out to start the second half, got back to level. I thought, right, this is really game on. But Galway inched back in front, turned them over. I think Aoife O'Donoghue that time, where she, a bit of dancing feet, turned over Laura Green, got the free. They got 1, 2, 3 ahead, and then eventually turned them over for a goal. And they ran out convincing winners at the end of the day. Fully deserved.
Fully deserved win for Galway. Brian, it sets up a situation next weekend. I suppose a winner takes all. Whoever wins that game is in the semi-final. Kilkenny, even in losing, are in the quarter-finals, obviously. They will want to do better. And then in the other group, Cork have booked their semi-final place with their win. They're on 9 points. Tip and Clare next week, of course, meet for essentially to decide what quarter-final that they're going to be in ultimately.
Yeah, I think, well, either the winner of Tip and Clare is going to play Kilkenny, and the loser of Galway and Waterford will play the loser of Tip and Clare.
Yeah. Well, it's Tip and Clare next week. Yeah, that's going to what it be.
That's the way it's going to be. That's essentially what we're looking at. Yeah. But I suppose the big game is next week. The two teams who are both undefeated, both won their games. Waterford a slight advantage on the score difference in my book, so a draw will do them, but that should be a real cracker of a game because you're straight through to the semi-final. And you again keep saying this in Camogie, you're avoiding Cork at the moment until the final, but it's more than that. It's straight through. Right, well, one thing that this weekend is confirmed anyway, we have the top 3 in each group. It's Waterford, Galway and Kilkenny. It's Cork, Tipperary and Clare. Barn and Miracle, Limerick are done, and so are Dublin. Dublin will play Derry next week to decide ultimately who plays Wexford in that relegation playoff final. So that's how it has finished out here today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks indeed to Brian and Ois to Rashoff for his coverage here at our 2 games. We're not done and dusted though. We're going to hear from our player of the match, and we'll also hopefully hear from a member of the winning camp here as well today. So stick around, stick with us. We should hear in the next couple of minutes. Thanks.
pitch side, Cathal Murray. You have to be happy enough with that. Coming to Kilkenny, it's always a difficult enough place to win and get the points.
Yeah, it is, of course. Yeah, coming down to Nowlan Park is never easy, and it wasn't easy. First half was really, really tight. But we were happy to win at half time, a couple of points up. There's a strong breeze in it. You wouldn't think it looking at it, but there is a strong breeze there, and it did have an effect in the game. Second half was excellent from us, to be honest with you. So it's our best half an hour of hurling for a while now, and work is really good, and we took some great scores, so really, really happy.
But that's probably because of the way the league section of this championship was worked out for you, because you had 2 games, you had a bye, and then you had the week off. So it's been 3 weeks since you had a game, really.
Yeah, it is, and probably showed out there at times, in fairness. But we're really happy. The first 2 games, I thought they went well for us. 2 good performances and 2 good wins, and we needed that. We knew, this is going to be a massive week for us. We always knew that. We had to go down and do our business here, and we're going to have to do our business again in Kenny Park in a week's time, because Waterford are really, really flying. They're probably the form team in the group, and that's going to be a massive challenge now. But it's great to be in that position now, just to get that win next week. And but it's a massive week for us.
Massive week in the sense that would you want to be laying down markers at this point, Cathal? Do you think it's important, because obviously your 2 teams now that are going to be in the mix for this All-Ireland title?
Oh yeah, it's not about laying down a marker. Listen, we just want to top the group. I'm sure Waterford want to top the group as well. This year you get seeded before. I spoke before about not getting seeded and not being, at a disadvantage, nearly coming over a group and meeting the team you're after beating again in the semi-final. This year it's an advantage to top the group, and listen, we want to do that. Your home game is the game you want to win. We're doing really well in Kenny Park, and we want to continue that. And but listen, Waterford are a huge threat. They're a savage team. The last 2 or 3 times we played them, it's only been a point or 2 in it, and it could have gone either way. So they'll be putting up serious scores. And listen, if we're not on it, we won't be beaten. It's simple as that. We have to perform really, really high level next week, and that's what it's about. We're happy where we are, but as I said, it counts for nothing now if you don't finish the job next week.
You probably won't know until you go and analyse and sit down and watch this game, but do you feel that this game might have just shook off the shackles out a little bit, and because it's going to come ticking fast out the next few weeks? That's
going to be, listen, I don't know as shackles. I look at Kilkenny are a serious team, and Nowlan Park is a serious we need to come to and try and get a result. So I thought we performed really, really well. Yeah, we didn't do everything perfect, but you never do at this time of the year. And we're just happy to be in the mix. As I said, we just wanted, at the start of the championship, we wanted to put ourselves in a position to win the last game to top the group, and that's what we have now next week. As I said, it's nice to be at home. That counts for nothing unless you go in and perform. And listen, that's what we're looking forward to. It's a big week. We have to recover now. It's a long journey back again, and from tomorrow then it starts, and you recover and you look forward to next Saturday. But as I said, it's going to take a massive performance to win it.
Thanks indeed, Cathal. I'm going to ask you to do one last thing. I'm going to call on Aoife Donoghue to come across. You're going to make the presentation to her as our player of the match. She's a big smile on her face there after that one. Congratulations to you, Aoife. Thanks, Cathal, for doing that. Aoife, just saying to Cathal there, it's been 3 weeks since you obviously had a game. Was it important to kind of get back on the horse again a little bit?
Yeah, of course. We had 3 weeks off. Training's gone really well, but we're really looking forward to getting down to here today and getting back into championship action. Yeah.
Championship obviously starting to heat up now a little bit. The temperature's obviously high on the pitch here, but coming down and having these games, where do you feel you are now after a blowout there of the last 65 minutes?
Oh yeah, look, as I said, training's gone really well the last 3 weeks. I think we finished really strongly there today, and we had a really strong second half and finished really well. So look, it's all about building from game to game, and I suppose we'll know more about ourselves after next week's game. Yeah.
Looking at it, things continue to change, obviously, within panels and everything. Aoife, you gave the All-Ireland champions a run of it last year. Do you feel you still have a bit and a point to prove and a bit to play for it, winning an All-Ireland title?
I won't be looking that far ahead now. Look, as I said, we're just trying to build game on game and focus on ourselves and getting our own camp right, and I suppose improving each game. As I said, we'll know a lot more about ourselves next weekend. I think Waterford bet Dublin, so it'll be a winner-take-all game there, and one of us will be heading to semi-finals and one to the quarters. So, it's great to be in the knockout stages now of the championship again.
Right. Well, congratulations, you're our player of the match. Well done, Aoife, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks indeed. That's Aoife Donoghue giving us her views and opinions on the victory here today. Thanks to Cathal Murray as well for his reaction, and of course to Megan, Luke and to Tom on his debut here today, helping us out on the action from UPMC Nowlan Park. So as we can see, 2 big games next weekend: Galway and Waterford in this group, Tipperary and Clare in the other group. Those will be the games we'll be keeping a key eye on next weekend, because they will ultimately decide semi-finals and quarter-finals in both of the groups. My name has been Killian Whelan. Hopefully you've enjoyed the action, folks, and we'll talk to you again next week. Good luck to you.